Carthaginians defending the city were attacked by 3 Roman legions. Arab women stripped them of their tunics and their swords and lances. And so
Incoming transmission.
Welcome to Saving Star Trek, a show talking about one of my favorite shows, Enterprise. I am Linda Park. I play Hoshi Sato and also Empress Sato. So enjoy this show. I love that it's finding a whole new life on the streaming services. And you better hit that like button or Empress Sato will not be happy. I mean, she could make a storm happen, and she could really make your life hard. Anyways, enjoy the show, hit that like button, and thank you for being a fan of Enterprise.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Saving Star Trek. I'm your buddy, Admiral Teague, and with me are my crew, Sean Carter and my good buddy, J.T. Kirk. Resolute Germ is on a dangerous away mission and will be returning to us soon. Hello, everybody. It's great to see you out there. Hi, guys. Welcome to our great weekly Star Trek show where we get to talk about everybody's favorite thing. And we've had a bunch of banging episodes in a row. And this week, as we can see, the stakes stay high, but we slow down and tell a story a little bit. I thought that as far as seasonal pacing, we had some good stuff going on here. Guys, before we get going, first impressions of this episode, and also, how are you this fine night?
Good, really good. A little tired today, but hanging in there. Delivered some pizza today. And saw a stripper skeleton. I'll share it. I'll share it with you in a little bit. But yeah, good episode, guys. We got a good show coming.
I mean, I dated a skeleton that was also a stripper, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, she was walking around. She was still alive, but I mean, like, aren't they kind of skeletal to begin with, the strippers? Yeah. I don't know. We'll find out later. I'm interested in this one. Okay, JT, wait, ready for a banging episode, guys? Thoughts?
I think I am. We'll find out if we're ready or not. It's kind of like the Xindi in a little bit of a way. They're trying to figure out if they really have the balls to do it this week. So,
I was
gonna be interesting.
I found some elements of this episode to be mildly upsetting in the vein of 9/11. I did find some of the episode to be a little too on the nose for 9/11 at that time. I didn't really feel upset watching it this time so much as I remembered how much it upset me when I watched it last time. And I remember, like, the Elizabeth thing, like, annoying me the last time. And I was like, just kill Degger already. But this time I was kind of like, all right, they're not the Taliban. I can live with the fact that, you know, Trip, like, had his moment with Degra and now has kind of let go of his anger. And I think we have a good kind of, like, a lot of good writing coming together here for this arc. Again, people might want to say that I don't know how sci-fi this is. And to that, my answer was, looking at it, the idea of an invasion by extraspatial beings into your dimension because they can't survive somewhere else by means of, like, these weird spheres that are changing space, we might have enough sci-fi enough right there. I mean, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. I have mixed feelings about this episode in a lot of ways, and I don't know if it's good or if it's not good. A lot of that hinges on, do I think they talk too much? Because this is a serialized season of Star Trek, and are they doing enough Star Trek, or are they just exposition dumping to get us through the middle of Act 3 or 4 in this 5-act play? So we'll get into it. I'm sure we'll get into it.
That is what it is. But you know what? I think we have to give them credit. We're still several episodes out from the end of the season. I think we're 20 now, right? So they're like, we have a little bit of time to like break and maneuver with what's going on, especially if they're going 26. I haven't checked yet, but it's not going to be like a herky jerky unification of timelines where it's like months and months have passed for some people and weeks have passed for others. It's been the same amount of time for everyone, and Trip says it, 9 months. Trip says it's been 9 months since the attack on Earth. So we see our Enterprise like beat to hell like in Wrath of Khan, and we start out with a very Wrath of Khan like scene with Archer addressing his crew and eulogizing the 18. A gentleman to the 18, am I right?
Yeah, dude. This almost gave me some Adama vibes. Not quite as powerful, but it was on that level of good leadership.
I feel as though the people who wrote that might have wrote this. I also think that they're experimenting with what's going to be the BSG formula, because we have an outer body experience and a visit from a spirit in this episode. Although Trip has been awake for so long that there is an explanation for it. At the same time, I wonder, guys, does anyone but me think that this was maybe one assignment too many for Archer, and I would have been like, Elizabeth's family can wait a few more weeks. This is the fate of the entire Earth.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. I felt the same way.
I don't need them to feel better when they die because we fucked this up. Trip needs to be at his best. Like, I do back Phlox's move, though.
I also have to feel a little bit that maybe, just maybe, that this just goes to show that you can hire extras and put them on your screen. It's not impossible. They proved that you could actually do it. And I'm going down the Strange New Worlds thing again, but you know, more people in the Remember the 18 scene than on the entire ship in Discovery or Strange New Worlds
throughout the season.
Throwing it out there.
This is as many people as we ever saw in one place at one time in their premiere New Trek show, Picard. So, yeah, this is very hard production. Kronos, it's been a long road. It's good to see you here, my friend. You know what? We got a banging Star Trek episode for everybody. It starts out with a somber note. And what I thought was pretty cool here is he's really proud of his ship. He's really proud of his crew. This is just about the right amount of people who would be able to get to this, because the ship is being held together with bubblegum and baling wire. Like, Trip has walked away from like a circuit, like working on something to be here for like the 5 minutes, and he's gonna like drink some coffee on the way back or eat some coffee on the way back to his post.
Real quick, Stark of Iron is here, and he's saying good night. But I want to now. Tony's birthday celebration is tomorrow, so everyone make sure to check Tony's channel and go celebrate his birthday with him.
He's turning 29 again.
Yeah,
happy birthday, Tony. Also, I forgot this one very bad on my behalf. I'm sorry, RRTNZ. You know, I've been streaming all day. The episode opens with a moving speech, says RRTNZ, with a generous New Zealand $10 super chat. Thank you, my friend. This episode opens with a moving speech as Archer advises the Star Force, thanking them for their bravery. Otherwise, a catch-your-breath episode equals character moments, a ticking clock. It's a solid B+. You know, I'd like to hear from everybody about your opinions on this episode, because I think because it breathes, because it's not afraid to be what it is, it might be possible to call this like a better episode than anything we get in. Well, it's always possible to call it better than anything in New Trek, but look at the respect level for the audience. It's like they have provided 2 really exciting episodes in a row. We've seen some of the best space battles we'll ever see again. We got the we got the previously on. We don't get that all the time in Enterprise. So it's been really like an amazing space adventure for the last couple of weeks. Has it been Starblazers? Yeah, it has been taken from Starblazers. The message from Iskandar is sort of the combination of Degra, a little bit of the help they get from Shran, and some stuff like they pick up their own information from the Sphere Builder. And we don't get a proper desk lock unless it's Commander Dahlem, who who shows up in this scene and I'm sorry, in this episode, and I think we're rid of him, right? Is this Gollum who's the guy who's antagonizing us? Does he is he the Xindi who shows up?
Cousin of Gollum. Yes.
Yeah,
That's the other Xindi species. Hobbit. Yeah.
It could, but I thought the other Xindi species was the avians, and we can't even talk about them because there's all sorts of warnings about avian stuff these days too.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Kimberly Ann Hart. Hello, Kronos. Hello, Buddy Hepburn. It's good to see you here. Hello, Crazy Horse. Hello, Stark of Iron, whose birthday is coming up soon. He is going to be 21 again. Hello to everyone. Wes Cagle is here. Gavin Blackburn is here. We've got a banging episode for you tonight. I want to thank the Trek reviewer for coming by. We've got East Cagle. We've got Stephen M. Cal 64. And we've got Kimberly Ann. Thank you for being here, Kimberly Ann Hart 2025. And you know what?
Hey, look at that. 2-month member chat.
Did we get what's say?
Very nice.
Just popped up from Kimberly.
Kimberly, thank you. You know what? We are so glad that you're a part of our crew. Welcome aboard. It's been great having people, enjoy Star Trek with us. And soon, maybe you'll get to see one of our little features called Saving Star Trek Under Attack. There are forecasts of ion storms out there tonight. And you know what? Everyone can help us by thank and welcome Kimberly Ann to the crew. Everybody say hi. And also, I hope everybody got the memo. We put out a community post about this one. When I create the stream, you can go there and look, and then you can remind yourself to go back. But there's a pinned post usually of where the episode will be shown. If it's in my theater, it'll be the link to my theater. If it's Germ's channel, it'll be the link to Germ's channel where the theater post will be in his chat. So you'll always have a chance to watch Star Trek with us. We're just not doing it live anymore. It's just it didn't work with what we were trying to do, unfortunately. But we're glad to have you as a part of our crew. 2 months, you've made a great decision. Thanks for being aboard with us. And hello to everybody. Did I miss anyone, or did anyone come in? Guys, this one doesn't quite qualify as a total bottle episode because I feel it has a little something to it. It is moving on to being a bit like BSG. Just as the horror movie that they show Captain Archer before the Delphic expanse was kind of unnecessary, this episode in itself may in fact be unnecessary and to save budget, but it's still a fairly quality story. Do you guys have feelings about the appearance of Taylor? And is she a ghost? Is she a figment of his imagination? Is he having a fitful dream? What's going on? Is it best? It's best as left to our imagination, in my opinion. But what's going on with Trip when he's trying to write this letter home? And your opinion of Archer giving him the assignment? I say no.
I agree with the assignment. I don't agree with the timing because he needed him at his best. And say when this is over, I want you. He could have said, "When this is over, I want you to write the letter," but then we wouldn't have had the conflict. There, but I liked his leadership when he said, the other guy was her supervisor. He can write it. And Archer says, I asked you. I liked that.
I like that. I wonder if, sorry, keep going.
Oh, wait, hold on 1 second.
Can I finish, please?
Yeah. The other thing is I do think it was just a dream. It's his conscience is going at him. Didn't he have a conversation with his sister at one point too? Like he dreamt about her.
Not this week.
Not this week. But during this, he's like imagined or dreamed of her.
He did see some of, but only, I think if I remember correctly, only her part. Like when she's looking at him, he sees her look at him and then look towards the coming plasma
right,
ray,
it was like Terminator type
and
of
the
thing,
wind is like and we never see Trip in this one, so he's reliving what he thinks happened to Elizabeth or what he's got a pretty good idea. He was
grabbing on the chain link fence and shaking like,
if she had only gone to her backyard to water her plants, the chances she's okay are fairly high. That was not a wide swath. It was a long scar in the earth. I suppose it is. It's a long stretch of the planet. They cover from Florida to part of South America. But first of all, someone mentioned this. I think it was Gavin. It was like when Trip is getting mad at Degra, maybe he's mad about all the catfish. But I'm sorry. Continue with your thought, or
Oh no, that was basically mine.
Real quick, Admiral.
JT,
sir.
your turn. Go ahead.
Hail, radioactive, sir.
Hail, radioactive, sir. It's good to see him here. You know what, JT? Your thoughts here on Captain Archer's assignment to Trip, the appropriateness of it, and your overall thought about this episode in general.
I think it was really supposed to mean more to us than what it ended up being in the end. I understood the whole remember the 18, and then having this sense of loss during the middle of the show really kind of up the stakes and make this whole mission more personal to us. And instead, we are at such a high octane race to get to the end of the season by Azadi Prime and Damage that this just like slams the brakes very haphazardly, because the engine is still running with the other foot on this. And I think it just makes the episode unbalanced in a lot of ways, right? Because you still have that main story with Degra and your foot's down on the accelerator to get to the finish line, and then your rear drum brakes are being applied at the same time, and it doesn't feel good.
We throw some pew pew in at the end to make sure that Degra has proved that he's one of us. But yeah, it's kind of a Team America moment. We can trust Degra now. He proved it before.
This would have been more appropriate, I think, in maybe another episode. I don't know which one at this point, because we've slammed all the Xindi stuff into the end of this season instead of the middle of the front. So
it seems like they were thinking what you were thinking, but they placed it at a totally different place in the season. You wanted them to go on Vengeance Quest and then Star Trek for a while. What they did was they started Vengeance Quest, then they Star Trek here and there and Side Quest here and there in a very BSG way. And then this show, from the people who are going to be some of the people who bring you BSG, we get like an outer body experience, whether it's a dream or not. We get, a lot of stuff that was familiar to me from BSG. It's not part of this episode, but it's part of the story. And we see it again. The people getting pulled out into space was very BSG.
Yeah.
And Trip's breakdown with the ghost is very BSG too. Very BSG 2.0, sir.
Yeah, and so I don't think the story itself is bad or the end of the world. I think it's in the wrong spot. And this episode was not a good spot for it. So not bad writing by any means, just bad placement.
Look, we have our friend Not B Ryan in the chat. It's great to see you.
Whoa!
Welcome to the show. And Radioactive with the gift memberships. Wow. Not Brian, welcome. Not Brian, a longtime acquaintance on X. He's a drinker mod, and he's a great guy. Welcome to Not B Ryan. Am I saying that correctly? Right? It's not Brian. It's Not B Ryan. And Radioactive's gifts are filtering out. Obi2 got one. It's taking a moment to filter out. And welcome.
Obi2. You mean Obi2 Kenobi? Okay.
Obi2 Wrath of Kenobi is here. And also, thank you all. I wonder if one will go to my other channel is in the chat because I threw it in there so you guys could join. I'm going to be using it a little bit here and there. And it's great to see people becoming part of the channel family. Thank you so much, Radioactive, for the 5 Admiralty gift memberships. Hopefully you're enjoying getting up to speed with Landman for what I think Thursday will be like a Landman part 1.5 conversation, because episodes 1 to 3 had so much going on that we're probably gonna have to pick up in the middle of episode 3, because we didn't explain like a couple of things that we get introduced, because we spent a lot of time, and we still have to talk a little more about what I call the based confrontation at the wind farm. I think that's probably where that was some based stuff. And we had people who I'll talk about this now for a minute. One of the problems with this form of communication is we'll have people who can say with some degree of authority that, this dialogue is accurate or not accurate, but you have to like kind of register that and prove it to YouTube before they won't come after you and and shut you down for doing it. So we have to be like a little coy and be like, there's a lot of indications that everything he says is true. There's studies back up Landman on this one. But it is a good show, and we'll be back with that on Thursday. It's a lot more fun than New Trek. But thank you, Radioactive. Let's see if anyone else got those memberships. And I'm wondering if people have voted. We got 18 votes. Wow, there's a lot of feeling about this one. A lot of you people are awesome and like the stream, even though I did not spell the word like correctly. A little bit of dyslexia there for you. Xindi Scientist.
You got a little Valley Girl accent to your poll.
You like the stream. Gag me with a spoon, but is Xindi Scientist Degra is a war criminal versus the United Federation of Planets. 17% of people feel that he is that and that alone. A Xindi Patriot. Now, he has 2 Super Bowl rings with Tom Brady, so yeah, I mean, he's definitely a Xindi Patriot. Both 50%. I feel that this is the show's intent. I voted Xindi war criminal versus UFP. I feel he's a Xindi war criminal versus the United Federation of Planets. And I don't think that it's too cool that they went so easy on him. I would have liked to see him suffer a little more. But you know what? In this story, we decided we were going to redeem the bad guys. And so I got to keep telling myself Degra's not the Taliban. Hello, Crazy Horse. Did I say hello to you?
Well, remember, Admiral, on the other hand, the Xindi are not signatories to the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, and neither are they the people who really did the real thing that happened between the 10th and the 12th back in September of the year between 2000 and 2002.
Well,
but the point...
True.
To put it in a most roundabout way ever. But the truth of the matter is, when we humanized Degra the first time around, I was really angry about it. Sean has mentioned a better show 25 years out. What do you think? Am I on to something here?
A better show?
How the episode might be, maybe they were writing with a future-looking sort of story, less impactful in a bad way now and more thoughtful, like it hitting you in a totally different way and not bad. Like it, was a little bit weird and bad when they did this.
Yeah, and there's a distinction between the Xindi and the other people that are in that comparison, that the Xindi were not fanatical.
Like they sound like the Suliban.
Right. Yeah, they weren't
the perfect name bad guys to do it with.
It wasn't an ideology driving them. It was a feel of a threat. So maybe that's maybe, I don't know. What do I know?
More than me about most Star Trek stuff, and definitely more than me about making models. How's my fembot coming?
She's in QA right now.
Machine gun Jubblies.
Cool.
Yeah, she's in QA, but don't worry, I've got plenty of bleach.
Excellent. Yeah, R&D can be tough. Well, I have a decon chamber here, very similar to Dr. Flox's. The reason I chose
the gel. Yeah, use the gel. The gel. Sorry,
and the
folks.
3 little shells. This is Archer's. I guess it's his office, right? This is Archer's office. He doesn't really have a ready room.
Not his orifice, folks.
Not his orifice. It's his office. But the reason I stopped it here is quite obvious. Look, his name's on screen. We're going to see him in a couple of minutes in another sequence, and we're going to see just how burning the candle at both ends Trip is right now. And unfortunately, Jolene's turning away, but we've seen costumes in this color before, but is this a new outfit?
Yeah, but you mentioned I think he was tripping.
He is
Trip
tripping.
was tripping.
Yeah. That outfit's an old one. It's got to be.
I think we've seen the colors before, and they've maybe they're now obsessing on the collars of her outfits, where they used to obsess on the sleeves, where they gave her these weird Futurama-ish looking outfits. Now the outfits, like, they're much
Sure.
more flattering. And if you're going to mess up something, yeah, mess up her bulging neckline. It's still a bulging neckline. But Seth
Well, they're
MacFarlane's
hiding the
gonna be in
hickeys.
this
Yeah.
from Michael Rapino. I would just say right here, let's talk about the situation. Trip is a wreck. Archer's not even acknowledging it. T'Pol is coming down off of all the Trellium she's done. She's been kind of out of it for a while. And what we have here is a typical case of she's sort of trying to lampshade all of her emotions in real life by just playing it really quiet and saying as little as possible. Trip's gotten very little to contribute, and it's a fairly alpha Archer here telling them to get things done. And, you know, the only thing Trip's insisted on is the ship is really messed up and that he has to keep working. He's pretty determined on that. DePaul, you know, fucks off to go to the see Phlox and then hit the bridge. And we have the conversation here between Archer and Trip about writing the letter to Taylor's family. And I understand
Letter writing
it a
can
little
come
bit.
later. If the ship blows up, you're not going to have any way of sending that letter back anyway, right?
Are we, as true as that is, are we to assume perhaps that Archer knew that Trip would only get sleep and rest if he came to terms with both Elizabeth and Taylor, as well as the other? Engineering took a direct hit. They lost a lot of engineering people. He lost his EPS specialist. He lost a few people. Like, it seems like that was also... It makes sense that engineering is the biggest department on the ship. Anyone else can, you know, handle a console, fire weapons. You need one great pilot. You know, obviously you got a couple of shifts here. 4 if you work for Jellicoe, right? And like Trip has just got to keep the ship running. We've got the entire crew on fumes, and Archer is running on anger, but it seems to agree with them. Anybody want to comment on what this scene? Is Archer maybe perceptive? Does Trip need to write the letter?
No, I'd maintain he doesn't.
I kinda feel
Not
that.
at this time, no.
I think
Yeah,
he's still
you could
running on
grow later.
adrenaline, being awake that long, and once he has to start using his brain like this, he's just going to collapse in his chair and fall asleep anyway.
Yeah, you're challenging him in so many ways. He's got command and tactical decisions to make. He's got input in how they run the ship. He's got massive adjustments to make to his crew rotation. He's got to try to get some people some rest, even because he's out of it. He's hoping they're going to catch him. You know, all that's going through his mind is that he trained these people. Don't worry, folks, says RRTNZ. Next week's episode is very sci-fi. I believe in these enabling connective episodes, RRTNZ. So yeah, there will be more sci-fi for the hardcore adherents next week. But I agree with anyone who wants to assess this one as low on sci-fi. Although I would say a walk on the hull of your ship in space to fix a EPS fire of green, a green EPS fire, and even if it's just kind of a noble sacrifice, and you know, we'll see what happens to Mr. Reed. We'll find out. It is beautifully rendered. It's not a true bottle episode in that sense. This repair of the ship mirrors a repair of the characters' souls. What do we want? A new Trek situation where we just have another battle and then we deal with it with some meaningless like edge talk in the hallway? I guess this is probably good pacing. Them and their ship are fucked up. He gets a little bit of a nap before he has to go out there and fix the ship to make it believable, if I have this correct. And then after he's rested and he's got his crew up to speed and he can have a little bit of downtime, the 5 minutes he chooses for himself is to write the letter to Taylor later. But we'll get there. But yeah, I think we all agree the letter to Taylor, it's for us, correct? It's not for Trip or for anything or for the story. It's actually, well, it is for the story. It's for us.
Yeah, it does have a good payoff at the end, though. I mean, at least they did it well. It maybe not have been necessary or fit really well with the plot, but the actual letter he ends up writing is touching and it's good, and he kind of grows a little bit. So there is at least some character development going on with it.
she is lit perfectly here. Now I didn't do a full video essay this week, and I hope you'll understand. And hey, we got a nice amount of people here. Thank you, and please hit the like and follow. It's great to have you here. And set your phasers to stunning, because here comes Jolene Blaylock. I didn't get her at the perfect moment here, but it was a tough cut to make. She looks gorgeous walking into sickbay. And as JT will notice, we have a step-on waste paper basket.
Yes,
and
we
what
do.
would that be above the step-on waste paper basket, JT? You may have noticed
a
it
paper
before.
towel dispenser.
It's right under the paper towel dispenser, so it's good placement.
I think that they made this paper towel dispenser out of like plastic fiber, because it stayed the same size for 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's never
No one's
being
pulled
used.
One towel off of
At
it.
least they didn't make it out of like pine or something, and then like not stain it, and so it just looks very IKEA. At least they didn't go that far.
In
Yeah.
season 5, he was going to have a barnwood interior for the inside of sick base. Like, I have decided it was a little more homey and reminded people of a rustic atmosphere, Captain. So
Yeah, and then they got
we
rid of
missed
the old man logo on the front, and then after complaints, they put it back.
I've decided to get rid of the caduceus because I'm fairly immoral. This spider-like emblem from Earth's 20th century will do quite fine for my brand of medicine, sir. Phlox, maybe not. So she has much less trillium in her. I watched these in a row, and this one I watched again in isolation, but when I watched these last week, I watched like 3 in a row. And the reaction to the amount of trillium that he has based on the way he reacted last time, I think what he was saying is, bitch, you're high right now, last time. Anyone?
Was he?
Last time he was like, there are very strong trace amounts of trillium in your system.
I'm sorry,
the
I was
way-
replying to Buddy Hepburn's comment there. He said Phlox doesn't wash his hands or his privates. So I said, well, he's got 3 wives, so he's got one for each of them.
You know what it is? He goes into the decon chamber every day for a few hours to think about life, think things over. You know, and also he made a sim of himself, and he found out a few secrets from his past that he didn't know. This sim was like, your mind was wiped when you were 18. You had a long streak as a tech addict. What is that? You know, another Star Trek actor invents it. It's a different story, but you get whacked out on it for a while. Don't worry. But yeah, we have the paper towel roll. We have to mention it every time. Our actress looks beautiful. Am I right, gentlemen? She looks beautiful.
Yes.
Always.
Correct on all counts.
She steps out of the pale blue light, one step from the dark, and then when she's fully up to Phlox, when he turns towards her, she's fully in the light. It's some good Enterprise lighting and some good TV. And he's very pleased that now there really are only trace amounts of trillium in her system, as opposed to the last time where he raised his voice, he opened his eyes wider, and said it with a great deal of alarm, as if to say, calling this a trace amount is like saying Jimmy Page has trace amounts of heroin and the song remains the same.
I guess I can't dispute that, but
But the Jimmy Page thing?
yeah.
We'll make it more current. More about as much heroin in him as Lane Staley ever did. Like as much trace amounts as Lane Staley ever had. Still nothing. Alice in Chains guy, nothing. Got to bring.
I don't know it. Sorry, I'm the worst with musical trivia.
Strike two.
But we have to get Rob Wright on here to help correct us with the musical trivia. Okay, so at any rate, he tells the Paul she's come a long way in her recovery, and it's at this point that Archer has, and talking to his bridge crew, I thought it was very important that we pause here to take note that Linda Park is in this episode, and boy, does she ever look beautiful right here, huh?
So say we all.
Yeah.
So say we all.
And she was like, there's no one here. And like everyone's wondering, like we rushed to this place to get to Degra. We've done some unprincipled things to get there. Not that we wouldn't have done them anyway, because we needed that warp coil whether we were going to meet Degra or not. But, this is what it's all for. Hoshi looking gorgeous, telling our captain, he did the right thing. By the way, in this episode, I noticed in the very beginning of the episode, he's sitting in his chair. The moment they give him the first status report, he jumps out of it like it's electrified. He just jumps right out of it. Archer is like, I don't think Scott Bakula was able to act sitting down or something like that. Like the Archer acting style seems to be to walk around there. Like he paces a little bit in those 4 feet that he has to walk in. He's over by Hoshi. He's back over by Reed the next moment. He's the next moment he's back behind his chair. He's moving around a lot. He's got energy. And I ever since I happened on the Harrison Ford thing, I feel like it was sort of proving itself a little more. Like he leans into stuff. He's got really good body language. Scott Bakula is really selling himself as the captain in this whole sequence where we're hoping that Degra shows up. And then, of course, we find out that there's a lot of anomalies in this part of the Delphic Expanse. One of them blows through the ship. It's a real problem, so people get messed up from it. And we just can't do this right now. We're about to split. We make the decision to split. Everyone is just going to leave. We don't know what to do. It looks like, guys, I would ask you right here before we get into Degra does show up in the nick of time. If they leave 1 minute before this, quite honestly, what is their option? Direct attack on the Xindi weapon, hoping that Earth can send out the Columbia before the Xindi build another one. We're stuck in a really tough point in our RTS strategy game, aren't we?
Yes. Yes. I think this is probably their primary plan. I don't think they actually mean to destroy it. I know that they think that they're going to head right for the weapon, but you also have to think that they know there's going to be like 20 Xindi ships around there. And even a one direction attack, if I'm being careful with YouTube here, a one direction attack, they're probably going to get vaporized into atoms before they can ever get close to the darn thing.
We have found out that kamikaze is just fine. Kamikaze missions are just fine. Yeah, it's a kamikaze mission. I don't know if we want to pile it on like I just did, but we can. Well, so this is not Degra's whole ship. This is Degra's ship emerging from. The Xindi are all over the place on tech because later in this episode they're going to back up something else I said where he's like, your scanning technology is very impressive, Captain Archer. And he's like, we're a ship of exploration when we're not fighting people, you dick. But the Xindi have transwarp conduits, for lack of a better term. They call them something else, but they're the same thing, right? These are the Borg transwarp conduits from Voyager. Anyone?
No, they're not. They're not.
Liar.
They're a different technology.
They're different technology. They say they serve the same plot device. I guess we should be happy that they came up with a name for it, but like the Xindi's technological ability, it's like they don't have 5 races. It's like the primates are carrying the other 4. What happened? It's like the Bugmen who have been making war on us for time immemorial are actually okay. And the other primates are like, oh, okay. And they're like, yeah. And you know what? The Arboreals, like, we waited around for like a week. One of them started speaking. So they're slow, but they're all right. Really? Yeah. And our new technology allows us to talk to those weird whale people. No kidding. Really? And at that point, they're like, yeah, we should share technology with them so everyone can be spacefaring. But all the Xindi tech has different design language. JT, does it make any sense that these Xindi could have their technical abilities just all over the tech tree? Like they're great at traveling. They're great at building transwarp conduits or whatever they call it. They're great at building weapons. They can build a Death Star. They can build a Star Trek Death Star. But they can't scan for shit, and they don't know anything about the spheres. The Enterprise already knows more. They've never bothered checking out the broken one at the edge of the Expanse where they were able to get inside. And it wasn't too hard for the Enterprise to get inside. So the Xindi, Is it wired in that like even the Xindi primates just aren't that curious, or has it just been a tough time keeping like the bugmen from wiping everyone else out once we figured out that that screeching noise was actually communicated? So we figured out the bugmen are actually just very angry assholes. We can work with them, sir.
My whole thing is, I think a lot of that technology that might be a little bit more advanced, sphere builders gave it all to them. No more, no less. So, because they keep talking about all the assistance they got.
You'll
I think
need these
that is
powerful
the
weapons.
assistance.
You'll
Yeah.
need these powerful weapons, but we scanning. Who cares? You just need to attack this planet. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
You might have something there. It's an interesting thought. I think that maybe it was just always a human thing that the scanning was much better. Human curiosity is something that gets talked about a lot in Star Trek. So maybe the idea that the humans have like so much curiosity that naturally just makes sense that they would have the scans be so powerful. And I was about to change to rating the episode, but as I looked at it, people are still voting on and have opinions about Degra. The proportions changed on Degra as I was looking. Is he a war criminal versus the United Federation of Planets guys? Is he just a Xindi patriot? Is he both? And you can still just like the stream and see the results. We love the interactions, and we thank everybody for the likes. Those really super duper help. We appreciate them. 18, not as many as there are New Trek producers, but you guys are here for the long
Getting
haul.
close.
Yeah, we're getting close. We're here. You guys are here for the long haul, and we've got a great video essay for you. Sean, you missed Hoshi being beautiful. I think you stepped away from that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's burned into my memory right there.
Hoshi looks beautiful.
Little
here.
dirty, a little tired, still gorgeous.
Instead of having the audience vote on their picks this week, because I think we'll finish up early and we can have the audience speak in comments to us about their feelings about this episode, should the poll be taken down in favor of, do you want to do 4 Halloween episodes for October that aren't necessarily Enterprise? Because that should be on the table, especially if we're trying to look to align with the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, the original series, because, we do have 26 episodes left and only about 52 weeks to cover, right? Less, like 48 weeks now. So if we kick that to 30, there's movies and other worthy things that we can do. And also we can double back and do some special interest stuff maybe from the other series. Maybe we could watch do a couple of Voyagers. Like maybe we could watch a bunch of Borg episodes to fill like the roughly 8 weird weeks that we might need to fill. I don't know.
We can get into some BSG too.
We could do 1 or 2 BSGs. We could do, I think it would be interesting to do, say, Living Legend Part 1 of both series and Living Legend Part 2 of both series. Or maybe, obviously, it's one story. Maybe we just have to do one episode on the 2.
Wait, what's Living Legend? Are you talking BSG?
That's the cross. With BSG, Living Legend is the one with Commander Kane.
Oh,
and the two very
okay.
different, and the Pegasus, and the two very different visions of Commander Kane. It's a 2-parter in both series, and BSG 2.0 Commander Kane is Ensign Ro.
Yeah,
and she is in fucking sane.
She'll hit you because she wants to.
I took their FTL drives and I took the fight to the Cylons like a soldier. That's right, Admiral Kane. She is Admiral Kane. That's true. Mm-hmm. Although, she's a little. She kind of eye rolls at the idea that Adama's an admiral, doesn't she? And she's been given this. She does. And he has that through legal authority, though. They managed to preserve legal authority on BSG. Yeah, I want us to try to do the first 20 or so episodes of Star Trek TOS along with the footprint of the original series at the 60-year mark. So we have a lot of Enterprise to work with and other stuff. We're going. We will be showing TOS in the footprint of the original show, and who knows how the dates line up. Imagine if the dates are the same. That would just feel so appropriate. And
wouldn't we have to wait till next September
to get to TOS, the point is we have 28 episodes of this left alone, even though some of them are 3
Oh,
episode
okay. I see what you're saying.
stories.
We'd have to fill in like another 20. That's a
Not
long
quite
time.
20, but maybe a little less than 20 because we have 28, right? And we have 49 weeks. So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be we might not be able to do it. What can I tell you? We might not be able to do it, but we will go back and probably talk about things in footprints of the episodes when possible. I don't know.
And we're
It'd be
also going to
great.
have at least 1 week where we're going to have, I'm assuming we're going to have a show where we just talk about Enterprise in general, like its impact, our thoughts, like I think that deserves a show.
It does deserve a show. It also, I think there might need to be a show for looking back, reevaluating season 1, reevaluating season 2, reevaluating season 3. You know what I mean? That there might be a discussion in that because season 2 seems to be where everything went wrong based on the fact that that's where streaming doesn't push through to season 3. Did you know that? Season 2 stops engagement.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ready to say it was that poorly put together. It was a good series of episodes. All the episodes are fairly good. There's no terrible, well, there's a couple of terrible episodes, but it's not like it's really bad. It's that it's scattershot. We have side quests in individual episodes far too often. But we hit an anomaly. JT, you always have the plot stuff covered. What do you think about the ticking clock being thrown in? We already have a ticking clock where Degra's going to be here sometime in the 3-day mark, and we're not quite there where we're supposed to be. We're messing around with a bad warp core. We're there within the Overton window, but there's some doubt whether Degra can make it. Maybe he's been there and left. Maybe he's, there's a lot of doubt. And then we have these anomalies. Is that one too? Do we have intersecting ticking clocks now, and therefore one too many in your mind? You tell me.
I would have to agree with that. I thought a lot of it was convenient on when things had to occur to move this plot forward. I also don't buy the leaking thing that we see being the warp manifold, having that leak with the fire, and the fire was exactly in the right spot. A lot of that was
blow up the ship, but yeah.
A lot of that felt almost new Trek level of convenient on every single piece of it. And it didn't happen right after the Xindi left. It had to happen right when the Xindi were on the ship. That kind of a thing. Right.
They weren't there yet. This is happening while we're waiting.
Oh, I mean at the end of the episode.
Yeah, we got
that
yes,
piece.
I'm sorry. Sean, what did you think about the intersecting ticking clocks? A bit too much?
Are you saying in this episode alone or in
just in this episode alone? Because we have to meet Degra at a certain time, and hey, Lombardi 1969 is here. Hello, sir. We got Degra, and also here we have the ticking clock of now. There's a bunch of anomalies. Can we really hang out here?
Yeah, I think what they did there, I mean, the A plot is just getting Degra's trust and everything. And they're like, man, we got a whole episode to fill out. So they had to throw in some action and all that. But it also just kind of gets them stuck in the tree a little bit more too. So I think it's just tension building to illustrate how bad off the ship really is. Everything just keeps falling apart.
At least they gave us a visual and an effect, right? This isn't like something similar to like New Trek where we just hear about it on a comm or someone complains about it in a hallway.
Yeah, but I want to know who the hell designed the ship to have the manual cutoff valves outside.
You know what? Also, I think what happens is the internal ones are damaged. Maybe that might be a missing line of dialogue, or a line of dialogue they thought was just one too many tech talk words. Because I think they're on a limit for this. And I think something occurs to me here. We've never seen our engine room quite this way before. We've had more intimate shots of Trip by the warp core, but it seems to me that these two struts coming out of the back of our warp engine could only go to our nacelles. Gentlemen, am I correct here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially where it's located in the ship. And, T'Pol likes to go in there because of all the pulsing and throbbing.
Oh yeah, that's why she comes over here.
Remember that line from the one with Kodos when Kirk like seduces his daughter? She goes, "It must be thrilling to be in control of all this power that's pulsing and throbbing." And Kirk's got that smirk on his face.
It'll be pulsing and throbbing inside you in about 10 seconds. You know what?
Wow.
I thought that this also complements the refit because now you can see why the drive section would take on the shape it would. This version of the warp engine, the earlier warp engine, I like to call it the Archer Cochrane hybrid warp 5 engine. Anybody got a problem with that? What do you think? It's the only real accurate way to put what this warp engine is.
Oh
right?
yeah, it's definitely going up into the nacelles. It's at the right angle too.
What do you think of the terminology? Right, this is properly called the Archer Cochrane engine because Henry Archer is the one who perfects it. Like, Zephyr Cochrane breaks the warp barrier, but this is a warp 5 engine. This is Dr. Cochrane cracked the mystery, but to do this, I'm not saying it's 5 times harder, but he really had to build on what Professor Cochrane did, or Dr. Cochrane did. So I think we have to call it the Archer Cochrane hybrid at this point. I don't know, JT, you live in Detroit, you know about engines through osmosis.
I do.
What do you think? Is this the Archer Cochrane hybrid, right?
Well, I'm not sure about the powertrain to be able to tell you for sure not if it is or isn't. But I would think that you're not too far off.
And that Florida man probably overboard the cylinders.
Although you wonder how much of it really is Cochrane's design anymore anyway, because it took him so long to work on this engine that maybe it was a completely clean sheet design from the beginning.
It seems to me that the only thing Cochrane did was find a way to break the warp barrier, not have a stable warp drive. He didn't have a very good. He gave people the first step. It was like a Wright brothers warp drive kind of flight, right? Like the Wright brothers flight isn't that impressive, but look what it led to: men on the moon. So I love this shot. I love the fact that our design language is so good. And the thing that's striking me here this early in the episode was, did anyone else think this, sir? It's like, wow, every room has a different sound and a different design environment. Here comes Degra through the transwarp conduit. What do they call it? Does anyone remember what these things are called?
The smeg hole.
The smeg
I don't know.
No,
but
there are two lights. There are 4 lights, actually.
That these were just almost like the subspace vacuole stuff we saw in Voyager, and that the sphere builders gave it to them. It wasn't like they, because it wasn't really something that when the Xindi joined the Federation, we ever see that, right? So I think it's limited to that particular area of space.
What I think is great here is Archer has a compelling story for them about why they should listen to him. Xindi Slothman not too fast on the uptake, and Degra is just like, listen, I have New Xindi's largest ball of twine on my desk. You're gonna shut the fuck up and do what I say. And the Arboreal is just like, well, you do have podcaster lights. I'm not going to mess with the guy who streams live. And what is with Degra's desk decoration? What the? It's like, I have this hornet's nest on my desk to remind you that I am, in fact, dangerous, Archer. It's not tech. Is it tech? What does he have? His Insoid Mac? It's like the Insoids made this for me. It's the outer case is from their secretions, like the Snot Stadium in Attack of the Clones.
The Snot Stadium.
George Lucas said that the people on the planet, not Vaginosis, whatever the planet that the bug people are on,
Geonosis.
Is it? Yeah, Geonosis. What's the planet the bug people are on, though? The water world is Geonosis, is it not?
Oh.
The bug people have that stadium. And, I'm watching
it's like a wasp nest. Yeah.
Yes, and I love to watch special editions. And he's like, our bug people here, they're like termites, so they've built this arena with their secretions. And I was like, thanks, George. Thanks a lot, George. I needed to know that.
Stylistically designed to be that way, and you can't undo that, but we can diminish the effects of it.
George, what are you thinking? George.
Dare you?
I mean, really,
Came home, there was a man in my house.
Trying to find the right one. Oh, yeah. This is the problem, George.
You're going too far in a few places.
Yeah, that's the one.
But
Yeah.
You know what? I wish I had this desk for streaming. He's got like all the desk room in the world. Like, how come the bigger the desk? Like, I mean, I get the bigger the desk, the more organized it is. But aside from New Xindi's largest ball of twine, he has nothing of use on his desk. I guess this is their conference room.
I don't know what this is. This isn't a briefing room. It's like
I guess it's
This looks like it's part of the Enterprise, and they
looks
did
much more like
something
the
weird.
Well, Decker's ship is
hide it.
pretty small. Could this be in another room? They do come over the Enterprise, but I think Degra has said, you need to come over to my ship. I got to talk to you about some shit. So he goes over there first to kind of prove that he trusts him. And of course, Degra has the world's largest ball of twine. Then they're docked at this point. They go over to the Enterprise, and we see Negan from. This is what happens when you go to Detroit. And Archer basically is like, these badass reptilians thought they could survive in ancient Detroit. We've become quite a bit better at being savage since then. You may wish to take a look at how badly beaten their bodies are. This is what humans are like, Degra. And he's like, And he's like, that's right, Degra. We're pretty savage. The beast. No, actually, this is their proof of the Xindi plot from the past. They recognize the conspirators. And it just so happens that what Archer says is exactly what they said they were going to do before they left. And Archer would have no way of knowing they did that. They said that. This was a shot-down plan from the Xindi Council, was to build as Buddy Hepburn gets credit for this one, the channel euphemism. Guys, they were building a biodegradable in the Earth's past that they could use against people.
There you go.
They're going to biodegrade everything. So they were going green. They had a green energy plan, and they were going to biodegradable the Earth's past. And this was a plan that the Xindi had and turned down, and they went for Degra's Death Star. And he's like, well, you could have, just gotten, these could be any two dead reptilians, and even though we know them, doesn't prove they've been to the past. To which I say, why not quantum date these guys? Their bodies are of no more military significance. Give them the Degra. All right, you'll find out that they've traveled like 6,000 years back and forth or whatever, like 500 years back and forth. Check them out, give them a look over. They've been hanging out with a bunch of minor actors from the early 2000s who show up in movies and stuff, and they were pretty badass. They tried to biodegrade Detroit, but Detroit got to them. Don't make us bring out the USS Detroit. You don't want to fight the USS Michigan.
There is actually a ship in what is that? The Alpha Wiki or whatever, Memory Alpha.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah, in the USS Michigan. You don't want to fight either one of them.
You know what? Vote now or forever hold your peace on the original poll, and we're going to vote on the fate of October. So the fate of October will be, will we watch 4 horror episodes from 4 different Star Trek franchises so that we can spread it around a little bit and buy time? And remember, now, Sean, we only need like 18 episodes. Like if we chip away at 4, it's like this was a good opportunity. So anyway, it looks like he's both, and I agree. Degra probably is both, though I voted war criminal based on my dislike of him as a New Yorker and the fact that he was supposed to be, the architect. He represents the people behind what happened between the 10th and the 12th. And, I like him now, but I if I was on a jury, I'd still throw him in jail. So that's why I convicted him on he's a war criminal. But I do get the Very effective face turn by Randy Oglesby, who's in this show more than Shran ever is. He's in this a lot more than Jeffrey Combs. Guys, let's talk for a moment about Randy Oglesby. Very difficult character turn here for a non-established character. He shows up and he's kind of a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Well, I don't know if that, I mean, well, his character he does reveal later that he had always struggled with building this thing. So I think he just turned on his, I got to do my duty thing. And like Archer, they're actually kind of parallel in a lot of ways. Archer's doing the turn toward getting the job done, and Degra's coming to the other direction. Profound? No?
I agree. No, I think you might be onto something. And I think that it's kind of like they're treading the line between Oppenheimer and Albert Speer. And he's kind of tied between being both. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although he's still guilty. I mean, he's still a war criminal. He's
still a war criminal, but he's sorry. He's going to have to do some time on Nimbus 3.
Yeah, for sure. But, because I mean, all the people on Earth that lost somebody, they're going to I don't care if he feels better. He did it. You put him in.
He's going to have to go in witness protection, and we're going to have to maybe make a sim of Degra and kill it in public. It's like, I'm remembering some bad things I did. Yeah, you're going to want to dwell on those. What's going to happen to me? Don't worry about that. I heard that the last sim got to hang out with DePaul. Yeah, that's not in the cards for you, sim. Just get in your cell. I mean, get in your room. It's a nice room. I think that's probably what they do. Guys, there's a poll live. You decide the fate of October star date shows, Halloween themed across the franchise, which I spelled really badly and really wrong. Across the franchise is
the Francesi. Yeah, that's Italian.
Yeah, the Francesi crime family. They're big in New York. You want to put in a patio, you got to talk to them about getting the grommets. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, here Randy Oglesby does do a good job. Sean, very correct and on point. JT, Randy Oglesby, as he stands next to what I think has to be Jeff Worthy based on the amount of times we've seen his name in the credits.
What do I think of his overall performance? You're saying
that and the Degra character, where does he fall? Is he Albert Speer?
It's a weak character.
Is he Oppenheimer?
I don't like the character. I think the character's weak. It doesn't really fit the role that they want him to do. So why do it? I don't know. I think the character is so weak, he would have objected to even building the weapon on moral grounds or something. Honestly.
I don't know.
Not if he believed what those Voldemort people were telling him.
You think so?
Yeah, because he even kind of explained it he poured himself into it because he felt it was his duty. Kind of like Cisco, Cisco's like, hey, if my conscience is the price to pay, so be it.
The guys who planned the attack on Pearl Harbor were really religious, and so are the guys who planned the attack on 9/11. You can have these traits mixed together. Something like you can, in this case with Degra, it's like he was only willing to be ruthless in defense of. He's old enough to remember Xindi 1 and having to leave, right? It's only 60, 70 years ago.
About, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. I'm never sad to see this go when we get rid of him.
I think the actor does a fantastic job. I really like his performance, but I can understand your problems with the character. There is some stuff about it.
At least his journey is very Trek-like. If you think about the redemption and. I think the way he goes out later is the only way to go. That had to happen to him, but at least they tried to be Trek in his character. They didn't show him as just some evil son of a bitch. I mean, the reptilians were, and the insectoids.
Than our hero Trip.
Right? Yeah.
Damn it. But Degra is like, pretty freaked out about the turn of events here. Later, Kronos, it was great to see you, buddy. Take care. Kronos is a great guy. And here he is. It's Seth MacFarlane, guys. And he gets yelled at by a very short-tempered Trip Tucker who goes full Florida man on Seth MacFarlane, who this character may have done nothing wrong. This is the beginning of the Trip needs sleep really bad arc. What did you guys feel like seeing Seth MacFarlane? I was like, at the time, I recognized him and I thought it was great. I knew who he was when I saw the show the first time. Anybody else?
I didn't, but it showed that he at least had respect and something of reverence for this property, that he could be on there and do it the right way. It's not like he was like Jack Black in Star Wars and was Jack Black as Jack Black.
He only had a 9 or 10 week relationship with the CW, and he managed to get in this episode. He's like, well, before I do anything for you, I'm going to damn well be on your fucking Star Trek show.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was when it came out. I learned later that, oh, shit, that's Seth MacFarlane.
I saw his name in the credits, and I already knew what he looked like because I'd seen him interviewed. This is like, year 5 of Family Guy. We knew he was really funny, and we knew he might change all humor.
Yeah, I didn't find Family Guy until season 7 or something like that. It was crazy.
Do you think, though, that people are saying that Seth should do Star Trek, quote unquote, because they've seen him here, or just because they liked Family Guy? Like, I don't think most people knew that he actually was ever on this episode. Folks that say that. Because a lot of people just never watched Enterprise, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'd be more okay with him doing something than some of these other guys. There's no reason he needed to be on here, but he was.
The idea that Enterprise is Star Trek is a new thing, so he really loved Star Trek, and he really liked this show to do it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not happy with him.
No?
No. We could have the Orville right now. He's just being a douche.
That part, I have no problem having him called out on.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled with him. Do you think he would be a good showrunner if they brought him in to do a new Trek series?
If he wasn't, for
like 2 years, and then he would drift off his moorings and not get back to it for way too long, is my feeling. JT.
Well, I mean, they'd have to contract him out and say, no, we're going to get 20 episodes a year for 4 years or something. We need to get that back. I'm sick of this 8 episode trend that we're getting every 3 years for episodes on any series.
I think that he easily could do a really good Trek show if he didn't star as himself on the show.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't want him in
there. He
there.
has to stop playing himself. I don't want him in the show at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him in the show. Give him a cameo or something, and that's
as
it.
An admiral, yeah, that would be fine, actually. But yeah, no, I don't want him in the show. I do want his Enterprise jacket. I mean, come on, who doesn't want one of those?
Yeah, but yeah. I think he actually was the worst part of, well, maybe not the worst, but he certainly did not help the Orville at all by putting himself on the show.
Well, yes and no. Seth is not as great of an actor as he likes to think, and he also doesn't look as young as he thinks anymore either. It's kind of getting a little silly that he tries to stay looking like he's 45 because he's getting very close to 60. At the same time, the episode quality, aside from the 2 Topa episodes, is very high.
Yeah.
The Topa episode shits the bed both seasons. It's not the worst, but it's like one of those mildly preachy TNG episodes. Like, you don't hate it. You can get through it, but like they also, those are 2 imperfect episodes, the Topa episodes. They don't have a B plot in either one of them. In one of them, the B plot is just more Topa. So Dr. Phlox pulls rank on Trip, who finally agrees to go to bed. And as he finally agrees, he says he's barely holding the ship together, and if he goes to sleep, there won't be a ship when he comes back. The moment he agrees to go to his cabin for a little while, we see this leak spring on the hull of the ship. I thought it was a pretty cool moment. I thought it was very good pacing in the show. What do you got?
Were they trying to be funny with this relieved of duty moment with Phlox? Because
Thank God
honestly,
he didn't flex his CGI face. I think that we're trying to play it as close to serious as possible, but
okay, because it seemed like almost like they were trying to make a comedy out of it. Because none of us thought for a second he was actually going to not agree to go to sleep. To me anyway, and I've seen. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I've seen more of a convincing fight put on by a bunch of little kids lately, like every single night. So. To me, he didn't really put up much resistance to this.
Spoken by a man who's had orders to go to bed, resisted personally in the last few days, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, but now no one's interested in that. But
someone's confined to their quarters until daybreak.
Yeah, as someone who's had to tell people to go to their room many a time in the last week, this does not sound anything like a convincing fight to that. So.
I think my feeling is that the logic won him over. Is like, if you don't go to sleep soon, you'll be a wreck and blow the ship up anyway. And he's like, it's now 51% more likely that I blow the ship up than keep it together anyway. I might as well take a nap. I'll wake up in so little time that it will feel like no time has passed anyway. And I've had time to like put together like a repair party. My people can do it. Hey, what's up, John?
Hi, John.
I think he has faith in his people for this one. So Trip relents and goes to sleep just as an EPS conduit ruptures to the outside of the ship. And then Captain Archer decides, you know what? I learned a little bit about entertaining people from my friends, the Vulcans. They showed me a fantastic horror movie called Event Horizon before I started this mission at the Vulcan Embassy. It had Vulcans gouging out their eyes and screaming. So for you, I've got this freeze-dried sphere builder piece of shit. He looks a lot like a Suliban, but, we left him in the kiln too long, and he really dried out. And we think that they're building this region of space into a reflection of their homeworld that they're leaving for reasons that we don't need to know. Reasons. They're coming here. That's all we need to know. And honestly, I was glad. I thought it was enough. Like, okay, I can understand maybe like they're at the bottom of the ladder where they are or whatever it is. Their plan is going to take until Daniels is around to come to fruition, though. So, these guys have time to spare. And here's our our sphere builder that we captured a few weeks ago in Showtime, probably a few months ago, when we found a pod floating in the densest part of the expanse. I think it was the same episode we got into the sphere. And this guy sort of disappears while Archer is shaking him. Like he's like, "You're going to tell me what's going on, you piece of shit dust man." And he just turns to dust. He phases out of existence. What did you guys think of springing this on Degra and how the Xindi didn't know shit about the spheres? Why wouldn't you make a point of investigating them?
Well, he does know about them. He said there's like 78 of them.
Inside one though.
Yeah, they never got in there.
That would be a priority to me. This expanse is fairly transversable for them. They don't have to go through the anomalies. They can just build a subspace corridor, and they've got the Trellium. They've got enough Trellium to smoke some. But what did you guys think of Archer showing them the horror story of the Xindi dick? This guy was such a dick. I hated this Xindi. JT, you had a great reaction to the horror movie that they showed Archer at the Vulcan Embassy. Is this as bad? Is he picking up bad habits from Saval, or is this fine?
This is fine. This is fine.
Here's some still images of a guy who's a real dick.
Unless you have a lot more of this evidence, I feel like that's more producible and given over to these guys. I don't know. All of this evidence, I kind of agreed with the Arboreal that a lot of it could have been fabricated. And that's kind of where I was like, this is not really the episode that I wanted to see. Like this whole let's lay it out and try to convince them with,
and it's a rewind for us too, right?
Yes,
they're bringing us up to speed. At least they're doing it intelligently. There's a case to be made that financially this episode had to be made, and what they got out of it is what they got out of it. It's not a dud. We get some pew-pew action coming up, but then Archer's like, hey, you can trust me. And we can see he's letting that laceration that he got 2 episodes back close on its own. He still won't let Phlox pull himself off what he's doing to heal that contusion. And also, he hasn't bothered cleaning up. He's filthy. Everyone's uniforms in this episode are filthy. It's the first time I've seen people with filthy uniforms consistently since the first pilot movie for Deep Space Nine, where the Starfleet uniforms are all... The first thing they show you is dirty Starfleet uniforms, which we had never really seen before unless someone was in a lot of trouble. What did you guys think of the aesthetic here?
I think they should have taken the guys that they were going to send out of the airlock earlier in the season. I think they should have kept them as prisoners on the ship so they'd have someone to do their laundry for them. Just a thought.
I want you to make a sim of each of them so we can beat the crap out of it when it remembers what's going on. We can get the information that way.
Right.
Way I figure in about 4 days, this sim will be old enough to tell me everything this Xindi reptilian knew by the time it was 20. If Trip's any indication. Yeah, he definitely needed some moisturizer. Again, this was a good physical performance. And again, Scott Bakula, in original TOS or anything else, even in TNG, this talk about how you need to trust him. Patrick Stewart stands there and does the steely gaze. Captain Kirk stands there and appeals to your humanity and your reason. Archer's just laying out his facts, and Archer's style is so much more physical than Picard or Kirk. He walks away, turns his back, puts his hands on hips, lowers his head, raises his head, shakes his head in frustration, turns around and comes back, going in and out of the light in a really cool fashion, which I think was great and appropriate for this scene, which has got a lot of darkness in it, as he treads where Sim was created. And by the way, can you please make me a Sim of T'Pol, please, too? In fact, one of T'Pol, one of Hoshi, please. Send them to my cabin. Don't tell anyone else. But anyone on Bakula in this scene, I thought it was pretty good performance, actually.
Yeah, I don't think he gives a single bad performance in this whole episode, really. I
don't know if he gives a bad performance in the show, really, either. He took this very seriously.
I don't know.
Maybe when he turns into that weird creature. When he turns into that weird creature that he has to cluck into the sun.
The one with the planet with no star. I don't know. Some of that was a little cringy.
It was very early on, and that story was a problem, right?
The story.
It was.
The story was not.
The planet was more well explained than why we had to keep bringing back this same blonde actress who was pretty hot, but it's like, you're the ideal woman. I keep dreaming of it. I'm like, man, you don't have pictures of Sydney Sweeney in your time? I mean, you're dreaming of her? I mean, come on. I was expecting a little more. Captain Kirk is like, I have a collection of classic 20th century pornography that I keep in my apartment. I like antiquities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Now on to my pornography collection. I like to keep my mind broad. Okay, so we have our conference at Sick Bay with our most immoral doctor, and this is basically says it all. The look from Degra, and the arboreal makeup, it's real heavy. I'm going to say this is concept 2 for lead protagonist of the Xindi. It's like this makeup didn't really make it. The Degra look was better. And it was a wise choice. The more arboreal Xindi, it's starting to come across that not all Xindi are the same, right? Not all Xindi are created equal. The arboreals...
Hashtag not all Xindi.
Yeah, right. The arboreals, what's it like having 10 restrooms in the Xindi movie theater?
What?
What?
Well, how do you use the insectoid men's room? Right? There's 5 Xindi species. You need a restroom for the aquatics and the aquatic females. You need a restroom for the primate and the primate females. You need a restroom for the arboreal and the arboreal females. And you need like 2 sandboxes or whatever for the reptilian and the reptilian females. You need 10 restrooms at the Xindi movie theater. God, I hope not 15. Maybe the Bugmen are all one sex. Did they say the Bugmen are all one sex? So there's 9 bathrooms at the Xindi movie theater. Anyone?
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense to me, right?
Well, the arboreal and the mammalian could probably share, right?
I guess. I would hope so. Maybe there's they can share the same room, but maybe the receptacle's a bit different. It's like, I need to hang upside down from the pipe to pee. Hold on a moment. I don't know. The sloth man here, it seems like he developed from a sloth. We're bizarre guys.
I always laugh at his teeth. He's like, it's
Moving on, Trip is sort of having his Battlestar Galactica 2 moment where he's seeing Taylor, who he recruited to the ship, and he's tried to write this letter a couple of times. He can't pull it off. And then I would have to say, after watching all the recent Star Trek that we saw from Kurtzman, the bad modern Star Trek that's not really Star Trek, this scene, I've said a little bit about what I feel about it. I'd love it if you two guys got into your feelings about Trip Tucker here, Florida Man and Ghost, or Florida Man and Dream. What's going on here?
I think he might already be asleep. And this is a dream. Like, it's not a hallucination. I think he is just already asleep.
Sure,
I don't
we're not
know.
gonna get out of this that easy. What do you think?
Oh no, I think he's just dreaming.
I think he's tripping. I think he hasn't gone to sleep yet, and he's seeing it. But I think he's having sleep deprivation hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
And because remember, he's taking some space drugs. Flock. So, hey, Mark, dear to see. It's good to see you.
Hey,
Hey, Mark, great to see you.
Mark, dear to see has a great channel. If you haven't subbed to it, you definitely should. One of my wrenches, please retrieve that so we can highlight it for us. And so her conversation with Trip, for what it is, it beats the hell out of what is it called, Sub Rosa with Bev talking to ghosts. I mean, it's a lot better. We've seen worse conversations with the dead here. It's also
my thing on it is, sorry, Admiral. I really wanted to get into this. I thought this was well written, and it was fine, and it definitely endeared this crewman to us when they never introduced the crewman before. And a lot of times in TNG, where they kind of have to remember the fallen or something like that, it kind of doesn't resonate that well with us because we just haven't seen them before. We don't really care. And so that is a hard thing to write around and get you to care. At least I think I cared in a way.
I found myself caring. I found myself very engaged. I guess maybe I'll be the outlier on this one. I hope I'm not shocking people too much. And Kal-El, hello. Oh, you've been here. I'm sorry. You know what? You get to have 2 hellos. It's fine. I thought that, let's be honest, supernatural, crazy, weird, occult shit. Hello, Daniel. Supernatural, crazy, weird, occult shit and conversations like this are right in the Kurtzman wheelhouse. We get stuff like this from Kurtzman left and right. But this was navigated with a dignity and sort of a Star Trek mystique to it where I felt it very much worked. I thought that Connor Trinneer's performance in this sequence was really strong. I enjoyed the conversation that he had with her. And because of what I saw and where I live, I absolutely thought of my friends that I lost on that day between the 10th and the 12th. So this, to me, was an effective scene this many years later. I remember turning it off during this scene when I saw it the first time in 2004 or whatever it was. I turned this shit the fuck off. I was so angry.
Yeah, it definitely is a disruptive, and heavy topic to go through, because this is like, well, a lot of us that have lost someone, and we've all lost someone, right, at some point that was close to us. You wish you could have almost this level of interaction with them in a way to get some closure. And the fact that he was so exhausted, maybe, maybe that's where he was able to do that.
It reminded me specifically of another Star Trek episode. Am I correct with the title from TNG? Is it called The Last Casualty? Where the creature from the planet takes the form of a fallen crew member to try to nurture the child. It's like, you must leave him here.
Oh, right. Yeah. She becomes his mother or something.
And she's like, I have all of her memories. You need to let me do this. And he's like, I've got my android on this one. I think we'll be fine. And it's like, we find out later you're in a relationship with that android. That's not legal yet. It's like, no, we don't need to talk about that now. But no, I mean, this reminded me of, is it called The Last Casualty from TNG, where we start the episode with one member of the away team is lost, with Nurse Ogawa and Dr. Crusher trying their best to save her, but she's the last casualty of a planet that had deadly landmines left behind on it from a old conflict. And by the way, like, that's not any kind of political cause. That's just a shame when that happens anywhere in the world, including in France, where it still happens like every once in a while to people who farm the fields where World War I took place. So,
right.
Quite honestly, I felt that this scene was emotionally effective now. It was too soon to write this then. It was too soon. It's not too soon anymore. I liked it, and I got in touch with some feelings that I hadn't before. I felt emotions during this whole scene, and I thought about a lot of people, so I'll leave it at that. So,
yeah. Like I said, just to finish up on my thoughts on this, I didn't think it was bad writing at all. I just thought it was in the wrong spot of the season, this part of the episode. And the B story was just kind of unlikely to have ever occurred because of how desperate they were to get the ship ready for a possible combat. Like, if we're thinking
the assignment to Trip is a little much and not that great of an idea.
Right. And that's all I would really have to say, thinking about that more, is just put it in a different episode, please. So.
Reptilians are going to show up and make life worse, but first we're going to show some more information to our pal Degra, and of course even Jolene hasn't had time to clean up, and she's dirty, sweet, and she's my girl, as they say in the song, right? I mean, she looks hot here.
Yeah.
So we're going to show Degra a few more things about this while Trip and Mr. Reed go out to fight the plasma fire on the outside of the hall. I thought that this was fantastic. And by the way, when did we see anything this good? I just want to say, for members of this channel who have been on the journey with me, we saw a fire on the outside of the ship in the famous show, the biggest show of 2024. Acolyte! Sorry, I had to do that the right way for the audience. Admiral Teague's really smart. He can clap his hands like a monkey on the second try. It's just like, we've seen fires in space compared to what we saw in the Acolyte with the campfire on the wing of the ship. I appreciated how dangerous it looked. I appreciated its sci-fi nature as far as this green plume of fire. And I don't know, Sean, this isn't sci-fi to you?
No, I mean this section of the show, not really. I mean, it's a broken ship and they got to fix it, and there's danger. There's been submarine shows like this. For me, sci-fi, it has to be a dilemma, a problem, an ethical challenge. This part here is not, but I think we do see the sci-fi in the show with Degra's dilemma of everything, and Trip's he's having a tantrum, which is understandable, and he
We
has to
have
put that aside,
That is yet to come. We're going to bust out some props from Wrath of Khan, guys, in the second half of the episode. You're going to love it. The Genesis device triggering mechanism is in this episode.
Oh, no.
Mr. Reed has something in the oxygen tank of his. That
is creepy.
Isn't that's also, it's the episode tile. So I made sure to catch that moment. This is when they're starting to tell Reed that maybe he can't go over to that part of the saucer section to repair the damage because of the direct sunlight, the heat, and everything else. And he's like, I'm going to try it anyway. And Trip's like, all right, well, we might as well. And then the situation steadily deteriorates, and we get a pretty good performance from our pal Dominic Keating, who dresses like an ecstasy dealer and acts like a weird motherfucker when we see him doing publicity, but is really good in this show. And as Mr. Reed, I have no complaints about his performance. This was a cool moment for Mr. Reed to show his quality and do something that he didn't want to have Trip get stuck doing, where he goes over into the light, and it's kind of difficult for him to let's bring that back just a little bit. He goes over into the light. I guess he's getting hit with starlight. He's also really close to the fire. They say his suit can't compensate, and I can just take this down for a moment, and it's our desktop for the show. There it is. There's the strut for the ship. I was amazed. What went through my mind is they kept it real proportionate to the people who got sucked out of the ship when we saw it get hit before. They're doing all the little things that are supposed to make a show good, right? To nail it into reality. They're still to scale about the same size as the people who got sucked out of the ship. And I like this whole sequence where we had to kind of work together. And it was kind of like the reverse of a nuclear launch code sequence, but they did the same thing, right? We have to turn the keys at the same time, remove the access panel, and do this in tandem to turn off this, power conduit so that it doesn't destroy our ship and that we can maneuver a little better and have some control of our own power. I thought it was a fairly effective scene. What did you guys think of Spacewalk with Mr. Reed?
I found it a derivative of the Romulan Mine episode.
It is definitely derivative of that. Although I will say this, he wasn't afraid to go back outside.
The manual cutoff also doesn't seem that close to that fire. The way this is drawn here, it just doesn't. So it kind of took me out of the tension that, oh my gosh, we have to get this fixed now.
Trip's a little further away, but not an appreciable distance that you'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's huge. I agree. There should have been another aggravating factor to drive up the heat, or with all this plasma flying around. How about it arcs on him and messes up his spacesuit a little bit, and he has to do it with a compromised suit. There's a better way to do this Jeopardy. The episode needs the Jeopardy, but there was a better way to do it. What do you guys think?
I think they should have just found the Christmas tree shaped valve and have the landman shut it off. They could get this fire taken care of.
That's Thursday, JT.
Sorry.
We'll be back on Thursday with Landman. This is just Hoshi delivering some run-of-the-mill information, but I figured she looks pretty hot, and she's dirty too, which makes her a little sexy as well. What can I tell you? She's got her rock and roll hair going on. She's a little bit of a mess. I want to be there when she gets in that sonic shower after this. Her uniform is filthy. We are really pushing hard against the things that people associate strongly with Star Trek in still a subtle way, fulfilling that mandate. I'm imagining the people from the studio, it's a little too Star Trek for what we wanted you guys to do. And they're like, well, look how dirty their uniforms are. And all right, we'll give it that one. I don't know. I did think it added to the reality and the tension. I like the design language of the ship in mid repair too. And of course, Reed passes out. Why doesn't he drift off into space? When he releases the hull plating, that flies away. We don't show it as his shoes holding him on. He collapses and falls to the deck. And the idea that it has its own gravity, the hull plating floated away. It's a plot hole? Anyone?
about the. I didn't care for
When
this
he
scene.
passes out, why doesn't he slide off the saucer section? We also missed a chance for Trip to save him that way too. You know.
Yeah, well,
Like, as he starts
don't they have
passing
magnetic
out-
boots though? Like they're just kind of.
They show them really not playing in because he falls down on his back and is out cold with his arms splayed out on the deck.
Yeah, I think it's they overlooked it. Like I said, I think this scene was put in for filler. They needed something else. We need action because, like JT was saying, there's a lot of exposure in this episode, a lot of talking, and they're like, we got to throw some action in here, guys.
Right. I think it was either budget or time.
Daniel, I
overlooked
really
it.
sorry to see you feeling under the weather. I hope you feel good soon. You know, you're one of our
What's
friends,
wrong?
and you know we care. You know, I don't know. Just he said he's felt better. I hope everything could be anything. I hope it's nothing too bad. And remember, we care about you. You're our pal.
Just take some Robitussin.
Yeah, take some Robitussin and watch this episode of Star Trek. So now we're finally going to show Degra the inside of the sphere, and this is blowing his mind. And he's like, you know, I'm going to guess that they had some theories. Thank you. Thank you.
Was that your smoke detector?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a little loud. It sounded like the single ping from Alec Baldwin's from Sean Connery's Red October submarine.
Right.
But I got
that's
it.
what I thought
it.
maybe it was. I was like, wait, what? One ping only.
One ping only.
Yeah, ping Pacelli.
Sean's
One ping
gonna
only,
pull
please.
a crazy Sean on YouTube here instead of a
Crazy?
crazy Ivan.
Oh,
a crazy Sean. You know what? It's just like it reminds me of a little joke, and to tell the joke, I need to do it the right way. There's only one way to tell the joke. Ready? He goes to other people's houses and puts in low power batteries to make it seem normal.
Oh no, that bastard!
I don't get the reference.
It's
I
the
don't-
Seckies and Most Interesting Man in the World song.
Oh, okay.
It was the putting in the low power batteries would be something that the blackest man in the world might do. That's the joke. Go around putting low power batteries into other people's smoke detectors to normalize it. I think there's a lot of people out there doing that. If you go on TikTok, it's everybody. But I digest. So Degra's never seen the inside of a sphere before, and he's pretty freaked out. He's pretty convinced that this is the real thing. These people were just at war. He's killed 7 million humans through his use of his weapon, and they've got this. You know, suddenly this. You know, it's almost like I felt like he should have had a Kirk-like reaction. Maybe JT had something there. It's just like, I build a weapon that destroys half that big swath of that planet, and they come back here with some mumbo jumbo about the spheres. It's supposed to make me feel better. I need my pain. I'm launching my weapon. Did they maybe have a theory or something? Like, is this like confirms everything he knew, or is this yet another like trust the show and don't think about it too much moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I also am more, when I watch this, I'm more distracted by the big shiny behind him than what's going on in the story, because it's exposition dump like over and over and over again.
By flying into the superstructure of this Death Star, I mean, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right, so for whatever reason, that builds Degra's confidence. Throughout this entire episode, they're trying to build Degra's confidence, and now Trip tries once again to write the letter. And this time I thought he was going to nail it because he starts rolling along, doing a little better. But at this point, the Xindi reptilians show up, and they are absolutely livid, and they just hate that Degra's hanging out with these guys. And I'm not sure if this is Dolim or not, but I think it is. My feeling is that it is Dolim. Who's our main reptilian council member asshole? But we're going to have a council meeting very soon, so if there's a different reptilian there, they'll make mention of it. The show's been good at keeping track of characters, so not that easy. You know, don't tell anyone I said this, but the reptilians, they all look alike to me. I mean, I know this is cystophobic, but I can't tell one from the other. And their names are all so similar. It's difficult. But this almost kind of looked like some leftover Captain Proton gear right here before we get into this battle with the Xindi. Before I get into that, Trip has a bit of a moment and goes a little bit too far in a few places talking to Degra, where he's like, I bet you were right proud of your weapon. It cut a swath through Florida. That's one of the places it destroyed. You killed a lot of catfish, you piece of garbage. I saw a lot of dead gators. You blew apart one of my favorite drainage ditches to go in and smoke meth. I mean, he had like a Florida man breakdown on him. And I thought that I never believed that he was going to lose his composure to the point where he punched him. But I didn't believe that he was going to regain his composure to the point where he was going to stop going after him. What did you guys think of Degra taking, and he took it from Trip having his Florida man moment on Degra? I thought it was kind of a high point of for Trip. It was and a good moment in this episode because I was like, I needed that, especially in view of the first watch, to let off the tension of we're going to let Degra off the hook a little bit, and it's like no, and Trip's kind of speaking for me here.
You mean like where he was making Degra feel like a piece of shit?
He's like, did you read the telemetry? Did you wonder how many of the people you killed maybe weren't adults? Did you think about how, like, 7 million people, that's a lot. Did you ever think about that? I bet you really enjoyed watching the scans. And Degra just kind of is like, like feeling what he's done. And he says to when Archer, go to your neutral corner, he's like, Degra, why don't you come hang out with me? And I don't have a fish tank in my office like Picard will, so I'm kind of cool. You can hang out with me. We'll watch water polo. It's great. You'll love it. And he's just, Degra says to Archer, I never thought I'd see someone who I hurt directly. I never thought I'd meet the family of a victim. Yeah, that was a real eye-opener for me. That affected me. And Archer's like, I feel your pain, man. I understand how you feel. And I'm just like, yeah, they are kind of tasked to the same thing, unpleasant tasks, both of them doing it only out of patriotism. But reactions on the Florida man moment and Archer recouping the trust of Degra and the way Degra handled it, Degra was damn decent about what happened.
Right. I was saddened that they didn't talk about the historical ruins of Walt Disney World. That the laser,
I also was hoping for that.
Yeah, I get it. They couldn't bring it up, but I really wish they did.
There's a place called Tomorrowland that no one was ever going to go to again. The Degra could have been like, according to WDW Pro, that's been true for a long time.
Degra at Tanagra when the walls fell.
Degra at Epcot where the kelp grew. I mean, what is Epcot Center even? I've never wanted to go back there. But we have a pretty cool space battle here.
Oh, Epcot is a small fleshy fruit.
That is exactly what it is.
I ate an Epcot the other day.
Is that true?
No.
Okay. I wouldn't put it past Disney to do something that dumb. That's not a Walt Disney idea. That comes later in the 80s. They're like, we need more relevance. We need more things for people to stand around and look at. And it's like, no, don't build any rides. That would be too much fun and too obvious. And I just say this battle here, I'm only noticing it now, but our nacelle is all fucked up and it is crooked and it looks like one of those Star Trek toys that we had when we were a kid that we played with too much. It's kind of crooked and it's never going to be
it's like the Constellation
swapped out. It is as beat up as the Constellation. I have the distinction of owning the two most beat up on screen starships, thanks to you, Sean, and thank you so much. But look at the NX. It's still giving it back. It's firing. By the way, Mr. Reed fixed both forward-firing phasers. Did he fix more stuff, or did the forward-firing phasers just have a full range of motion? And why call them that? Phaser banks 1 and 2 is what they are if they can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think that was a mistake in the script?
a mistake in the CGI rendering where they didn't think it through enough. They should have been flying forward towards it, but this was a beautiful angle to see the ship. They were more concerned in showing all the damage. And by the way, it was so hard to get this phaser burst. It's the shortest phaser burst. It's like they barely have enough power to do it. It's like, and it sounds different than most other phaser bursts. It's a little more anemic. I dug it. I thought it told it a little bit like about our character, the ship being a character for the first time since the first show. And we told a little bit of our story with this fight, you know, and Degra's face turn where he's going to destroy these lousy reptilian dicks. But I think this is some great rendering, and I love the way our ship looks here. Anybody got anything to add to that one? Go ahead as I advance us.
Yeah, it is. It's all screwed up, and it looks good.
Pure anti-proton. Absolutely pure.
Oh,
Thank you, Sean. Perfect timing.
how
Yeah.
screwed up the ship is that it still works. Like I mean, there's not supposed to be any wasted space on the ship, so every square inch of that is supposed to do something.
Start
But
that
the ship still
conversation. Start that
operates.
comment over because you roboted away for a moment, but I
Oh,
believe it to
okay.
be StreamYards. I believe it to be
Oh,
StreamYards.
you believe it to be StreamYards? Okay. I was
Sean,
just say
yeah.
every square inch of that ship was supposed to do something, and I find it miraculous that they were able to still be that capable, even with all this damage, despite the repairs or no.
I think it blasted right through the places where people. Well, it was like everyone's quarters. When Trip is fixing the conduits, he's like, her quarters were there, his quarters were there. So like they got lucky in the sense that they hit them where they lived and maximized casualties, but they didn't get like again the Xindi scanners like their aim sucked, and like evasion pattern to Paul was really good. She smoked a lot of Trellium, and she's like, program these evasive maneuvers into the computer, Captain. They'll work great. Okay, it's a performance enhancing drug. She looks hot here as she's relates to. Like we have a moment here where we effectively ruse our audience. It's like
They're always hard
charging
before
weapons.
the teeth fall out.
Oh,
Okay, so she's reporting that Degra's charging. Degra's turned, and Mr. Reed says in an alarm tone that he's charging weapons. It's like he's going to attack us, but nope. He takes another shot at the reptilians because Archer was going to rescue the reptilian bastards, and Degra is just like far more committed to doing this and far more dastardly and has far more skin in the game now because this is his society than Archer does. Archer can just go back home to the humans. Degra's like, no witnesses. Fuck that shit, man. I am gone full gangsta now. Guys, I really want your feelings on Degra's face turn here. This is a WWE level face turn. This is well executed by Randy Oglesby here.
Yeah.
indeed.
Oh man, my YouTube crashed. Boo.
I hate
There
when
we
that
go.
happens. It seems to be like about once every hour on my laptop and less. It seems to be linked to the power of whatever computer you're using. But better your YouTube
well, I don't
than your
know.
StreamYards.
I have a very over provisioned computer for what you would need to just watch this show or even be on the stream. It still happens to me about twice during your show every week.
Yeah, I think it's StreamYards that doesn't have enough resources. But moving along with the review, you know what, Daniel? I think we might see the Reptilians if we get the Enterprise sequel show, which I still accept as a long shot. But you know what? There's something that we haven't had for a long time, hope. So, the Commander Adama in me, you know what? Maybe I should lie. You know what? I've called Paramount. They've told me their most guarded programming secret. Star Trek is coming back with a rebooted show in the original continuity. It's going to be good and swashbuckling with an attractive cast. So say we all.
So say we all.
Yeah.
we all.
Can I finish? All right, so, oops, sorry guys. So Degra's ready to believe
Can I
this shit
finish,
now.
please?
After the sphere builder stuff, and here's, I think this is Trip once again having his moment. The Reptilians, they're not going to take it. They're going to attack. Degger, of course, joins forces with the NX-01. The NX-01 is no match for it, and it looks it. Like I said, this is like an overly played with model. Jolene looking great here. We had to have some reaction from the crew. I figured go with her. We had just had Hoshi a moment ago. What I want to say, the efficiency of that shot is that in the same 10 seconds, we saw 3 seconds of Hoshi, just long enough of Archer for him to give a order, and then like 3 or 4 seconds of T'Pol. Very well managed time, sir. I don't know about the pacing of the story, but your pacing of showing us beautiful women within a few seconds apart, that was very much appreciated, sirs. And here's our set, well reused, and this is where poor Trip kicks the can. Not ultimately, although I guess this is foreshadowing. The Xindi have sent over some portable power converters, something that we should have. He could have stopped at Tashi Station and gotten them, but these are the Xindi portable power supplies. Yes.
I believe this is what we call in the biz foreshadowing.
This is maybe perhaps foreshadowing. It's heavy foreshadowing, though.
You didn't get the reference?
No.
Okay.
Maybe not. But he kicks the power conduit away, and it's like the way you kick a bucket, which is symbolic of death. And we do know that a power conduit fluctuation that he does himself to take out some bad guys is how Trip dies in the episode that might not be canonical. They're going to have to walk away from the canonical nature of their final episode to do the sequel show. That is definitely coming. So say we all. But yeah.
Say we all.
Trip is pretty emotional here. He just wants to be left alone to work. He definitely needs some sleep. He's still angry as hell, and he talks about the senselessness of war and the pointlessness of loss and the loss of these young people. And on 9/11, it rang hollow because the people we lost were just trying to do their day's work and going about their lives. Like the war wasn't as forward in our minds, and couldn't have been in their minds when they wrote this that much, although I guess they were smart enough to know we would have one. But I really felt Trip's anger, and T'Pol's reaction was interesting. She's like, I like these emotions, so this is how we act when we're angry. I'm going to remember this next time I get mad. He puts on a clinic in Florida Man Rage. I'd love your thoughts on Trip's moment here of doubt and pain, as Mick Jagger would say.
Sean?
I think Sean might be AFK.
I have no thoughts. I really have no thoughts on this scene.
I'm sorry. I had to get up for a second. I missed what you asked. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask. Trip gets a little outraged here, and I think that I liked Jolene's performance here. I thought that T'Pol seemed to be like, he puts on a full-on clinic of angry Florida man energy when he kicks the power supply across the room. And like I said, he could have gone to Tashi Station if he needed a power control.
Yeah.
Xindi.
He was wanting to go fly the Colonel Green again for sure.
And T'Pol's kind of like, didn't he? My impression was watching her that she was drinking in his display of anger as much as she was unsettled by it. She's like, I'm going to throw some things around next time I get mad too. So this is how you get angry. And I thought, who more appropriate than a Florida man to show you how to throw the blow a gasket? Aside from maybe me. It's like Trip is like, let me tell you a little bit about what the Xindi did to my hometown, Paul. I got a lot of problems with how they did things. Really messes up my mind.
Wow.
I think they had like one too many outbursts from him in this episode.
Yeah, they did.
They were trying to buy some time and save some money. Look how messed up our nacelle is. I think that looks gorgeous, guys. Anyone want to comment on that? The battle damage is sometimes the greatest art form. They keep it consistent. It's not changing scene to scene. And look at that contrast, and look how great our NX-01 looks actually. It really is a beautiful, beautiful picture. This could be on my wall, and I would love every moment of it. I would enjoy this on my wall. This is a painting right here.
It's amazing how good the CGI was then, and I still maintain that what we see in this show is better than the current thing that's trying to pass off.
Oh God, we have just the garbage Trek now of modern Star Trek. This would be the entire ship would be as dark as the part right behind the bridge. The light makes sense here. Where the lighting source is makes sense here. The light and shadows are consistent here.
Yeah.
Somebody sat down and thought this through. Somebody designed a decent enough ship for Degra. It's got some shared technology with the insectoid shuttle, with that proboscis or whatever the hell it is coming off his ship, and Degra has proven himself. You know, he had his Team America moment with Mr. Spotswood. Gary's proven himself to us. He's one of us now. Like, you know, he did what he had to do to Archer, and everybody's pretty much on the same page here. Go ahead.
And I don't know, because this isn't my industry, but it really does feel like whoever was involved in the CGI, whether they directly illustrated it or composed it or not, understood how to light practical models and do practical effects. So
I wouldn't have been surprised if they had
effects guys. I don't think they got rid of all the practical effects guys. I think they at least kept the top 3 guys as consultants. Honestly,
right?
Oh yeah, or at least they probably, like, for this kind of, and back then what they would do, they would get physical models and throw light on them and see how it reacted, and they would just recreate that in AI.
There was some kind of working model for the show for sure.
There had to have been, even if they CG over it, but it looks practical. It was so well done.
And they never did that with New Trek. Really anything after 2005, because 2009 was like the lens flare era.
Yeah.
Error. I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
And this 23-year-old 21-year-old CGI is better than what we get now. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the scenes are much longer when we get CGI. The cuts go on much longer than they do in New Trek. We get like a quick glimpse. Their favorite thing in New Trek is to show us someone looking out through a glass like porthole, because they have those now. It's like a thing. Their view screens are translucent and you can see through them. They're actually windows now. But they have someone look through one of those, and we see the action rendered in much lower resolution, reflected in the glass as we see them like, oh no. You see like the starship exploding off to the side, and it's just like really low red. Like they did that like twice in Section 31.
Right.
Well, it's transparent aluminum, though.
Yeah, it was designed by, was it Gavin Blackburn designed the transparent aluminum, or did Kronos design it? Channel Lore says one of them designed it. So here's Archer again, having his talk with Degra. He's still kind of beat up, and I guess the question here is, I want to throw it to both you guys. Really, like, take your time on this one. Has this relationship, nascent though it is, have they earned trust? Remember, like most of their history is mind erased from Degra. Tell me, what do you think about this scene? And is it earned? Did they do a good enough job of convincing us Degra's one of us now?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to finish the episode, so I'm going off of memory. But yeah, and I think that's what and like JT was talking about, a lot of exposure. They kind of needed to do the exposure and the talking to get to this point of the show, because I mean they couldn't just like in a 2-minute scene flip Degra. It had to be a gradual thing, and I think it pays off. I believe him. I believe the performance
Gavin's
and the
right,
writing.
by the way. I noticed this too. This was really good. Everything was very. They're hitting on all 8 cylinders for this one. Really, every way. As far as stuff like that went, their continuity on this show is really good. When you review new Star Trek, you see how bad continuity hits the screen.
Yeah, I think they just use AI.
That would make sense, because this year, as bad as it was, Spock not really taking part in the stories, and the way Spock reacted was as though the AI was like told to make Spock act like Spock, and they didn't prompt it enough to make him an asshole. It definitely had a poorly written prompt, the season of Strange New Worlds that they generated off an AI. And it was an older AI. It's an older AI, but it still checks out, or it never checks. Or
No,
never
does
checked
it?
out.
It
No.
never checked out. Yeah.
It never checked out. Yeah, right. Gavin got it from a Scottish professor. Hello, computer. But we've made it to this point with our pal Degra. Randy Oglesby gave a pretty darn good performance in a character that we all agree was challenging. And this moment, I thought this was big. The handshake between Archer and Degra. They've drank together, although Degra doesn't remember it. Anybody want to talk to me for a minute about how I guess we've talked about this scene, but closing thoughts. Like he says, I can't risk the reptilians telling the rest of the council about our alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because their next stop is the council chamber.
Yeah.
He didn't have to kill those reptilians. Degra is just like, oh, Xindi primates are just much more bloodthirsty than you humans. You guys lie. We kill. We'll be a great team. We'd love to be part of your federation one day.
It's a little presumptuous. I think a lot of this is a little presumptuous. Although I would like to think that I would be Degra in this position, maybe. I think he's the best Xindi they have in terms of like a Star Trek character, or I guess the one with the best morals, although he's also the one that designed the Death Star. So it's hard to really say you want to be Degra, but out of all the other Xindi that are out there, I still think he's the best one.
He's the Robert Oppenheimer of Buddy Hepburn. I am Degra. I'm Degra. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're a Xindi, you're gonna have some more empathy for what Degra does. But you know what? You are Degra. You know what? Oh, you know what? He should have his own Landru. This is as though we took Degra and just like programmed that AI on Archon, or the planet the Archons go to after it. All right, so Trip finally finds the inspiration without seeing any ghosts or having any hallucinations, with no false starts, and he just it was a well-written piece of prose by the writers, and it was really good as far as its role in the show. Guys, this final moment where Connor Trenier, I think, really nails it. If he hits it into the cheap seats, knocks it out of the park, whatever you want to say, through the 5-hole, I thought that this was a really good and touching emotional performance and a nice end to the Elizabeth aspect of his character. Thoughts on Colin Trenier's solitude and letter to the Taylor family?
JT, you want to go first?
Yeah, so I don't know if he really is going to have complete closure, but I think it does give him some good closure at this point in the season or the story arc, where he doesn't feel quite so much like I don't know how you want to describe it, but he doesn't feel quite so much like some really bloodthirsty guy out for cold revenge. It seems like he's healed a little bit more and can get his priorities more towards saving others instead of just being quite as pissed off. I feel like he got a lot of that out of him. In this scene here shows that he was capable of that healing.
A lot of range from Connor Trenier in this episode. He's yelling earlier. He's military and holding it together at a different point. He's really tired at a different point. He answers the bell on all acting counts in this episode, too. And is reliably the Trip Tucker we know and love. I don't know why he wasn't the star of his own cop show or like a major cop on one of the crime shows. He's got a lot of acting range, and we saw it all in this episode. Mm-hmm. He's a really good actor for TV, maybe even for other things, but he's a fantastic TV actor in what we've seen. Truck United's a no-go without him, but I would say, too.
I wonder how many takes that took him. It did not look like the easiest scene in the world to act.
It'd be a great question to ask him.
I would love to ask him that, because this is the biggest character moment this character's ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from maybe when he was going insane from smoke from the rocks that make you get high on that planet in the caves, where he was going to chop T'Pol into little pieces to make sure she didn't have wheels and gears inside of her. This is his most, humane character moment. He's compassionate here, and he talks with passion about his friend that he recruited to be on the ship. I thought it was kind of, it was pretty cool. And then, of course, after he finishes, he goes to his drawer and he pulls out this picture, and there it is. Puts his hand on it. After he closes the letter, he says, "Goodbye, Elizabeth." And this part was tough because I thought about my personal 9/11 experience. So if you guys could just talk a little bit about this next scene that we're going to roll into, or this one.
Well, I'll give my
the Elizabeth scene. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, everything JT said is spot on. I think it, and even though I do think they had him do one too many little outbursts in this episode, they could have done well having one longer one. And but it's still, like I said in the beginning of the show, it's really good character development for Trip. The acting was really well done. The lighting, it's somber. It's dark, but it's not depressing. It's just somber, and it's a good of the 7 stages of grief, and he's closing that chapter, and he let it go, and that's good. That's really good storytelling right here, and it's sad that we miss it because they took their time with he had to go through this journey the entire season. And he gets over it right when he needs to, or he gets through that part when they need to, right before the very end of this entire arc. But really, really well done. It's always a good scene to watch. That's
JT,
all I have to say about that.
Anything to add?
I love how Enterprise can do photographs instead of Star Trek Generations, where they put that weird, freaky hologram border around it.
Yeah, like a Tasha hologram of Elizabeth, where she's just like,
yeah.
He is from Florida.
I don't think I want to talk about how this scene made me feel too much, except to say that it was very effective in making people feel emotional. Ruby Hoove, thank you so much
Ruby
for
Hoove.
gifting a membership. Let's see who got that one. We'll find out. Some lucky person out there will get one. Thank you so much, Ruby Hoove. It's good to see you. Welcome to our show. We are going through the events of episode... Not Damages. What's this week's? I forgot. It is The Forgotten. Trip is finally coming to he's having some closure with his sister's death. This episode was real BSG. We had a little bit of valor in it. We had a little bit of action in it. It wasn't really a bottle episode. They put money into the effects all through this episode. It was I guess it was very important for us to get the perspective that we had from these characters in this episode to cement their alliance, build their character. Like, maybe it wasn't the best methodically executed character building, alliance building moment. We basically are allied by the fact that Degra's in too deep now to get out of it. But I thought this was an interesting episode, so let's go ahead and rate the episode and give our thoughts on it. I thought it was pretty good, but what we'll do is we'll see about what my panel thinks, and we'll take turns in the hot seat giving our opinion of the episode. Why don't we try going with JT first?
Yeah, so this was a conflict between what I thought the A plot should have been and where the B plot should have been. Not in relation to each other necessarily, but just slotted into the season. I don't think that either one is necessarily the best slotted in here, but the A plot, I guess you don't really have much of a choice. After we stepped on the gas for 2 full episodes and what felt like a movie or two, we now go to a lot of, I guess, maybe second movie exposition to try to get the plot to move into the final couple of acts. And for that, this felt just a little bit of a letdown in some ways. Not that it was a bad episode that way with the A story, but there was a little bit too much talking. And so we had to get action thrown in there with that fire at the end of the show. And I just did not feel that it was writing at its strongest. You also have to pay a lot of attention to what Archer is telling the Xindi species and when he's telling them. And it's a lot of work, I thought, from a viewer's perspective to stay engaged with that storyline. The other storyline being, of course, Trip with the healing process, dealing with loss, having to write the letter. A great story, very well acted, but it should have been in a different episode. I don't think it fits here very well at all. And so these two stories, I don't think are that congruous at all, except for the forced scene with Trip and Degra, where Trip, gets angry at Degra and all that. So how do I give this a grade that I think is rewarding where it is, but also punishes it a little bit? It's hard. I would give this a solid B. Sean, 85%.
All right.
Okay.
And let me write that
Admiral, do you want to check Ruby Hoove's super chat there? Because it looks like Ruby's going to.
Ruby, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had it up on screen for a moment. I so appreciate the generous $5 American super chat. Hi back. And we are having a great time doing our Star Trek show. And good night. You can please come back and listen to the rest of the show later. And if people who are coming through later, thank you. And thank you so much, Ruby Hoove. It's very appreciated. You're a sweetheart. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow, as they used to say on SNL. But on this show, we try to be funny. I guess like when they used to say that on it, what can I tell you?
Funny or vulgar?
What is there? Yeah. Well, I mean, for them, like if they picked one or the other, maybe they would get somewhere with either one. But seems like it's just a big disaster for them right now. But that's a whole other story. You know what? Just remember, stay away from Trellium. And we've had almost all of the Xindi arc. I forget how we finally ended. I haven't watched ahead. When I did, I fell asleep before the final episode. I think we're going to get our ship back in fighting shape and meet some people from the future. But we had a poll up that we absolutely have to pay attention to before we get some opinions from our audience about the episode. And guys, get opinionated in there about this episode. Okay, so JT, you went first. What was your grade?
85% B.
All right, 85% B. Sean, your turn.
All right. And first of all, I do want to apologize. I think I said he with Ruby Hoover. I didn't mean to do that. So sorry about that.
Ruby Hoover is female.
Yes. I slip of the tired tongue there. I give this also an 85, just right there, B. It does have a couple of the issues with the pacing a little bit, but I will disagree slightly with JT in that I think this was the timing was right for Trip's breakdown, because he had to confront Degra to get there. Like he had to see him in front of his face to get that final burst of rage out of him, and then see what it was doing to himself. So I maybe it could have been done in a different episode, but I do think that he had to see Degra and be in front of his face to confront that, to bring it out. It could have been done another time, or maybe a little bit better. With the, we get that emergency out on the hull was kind of takes us out of this episode a little bit. I don't know if they needed it, but we needed some action. But they could have gone with something a little bit different. But 85, same as JT. It's like just right there. B, really good story. Like watching it, and we're sensing that the end is coming. And like I said, they finally got the right cruising speed on these last few episodes for this arc. So yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
Yep.
Our Starblazers arc is starting to wrap up very nicely. You might not like the method of execution of all the plot threads, but most of them are being managed pretty well, and they are all coming together. And we're not having ridiculous problems like people falling out of time. When everyone is synced up, we have put a stick in the ground and drawn a line and said this is 9 months out from the last event that we know of as being the. Now we're 9 months out from the attack on Earth. That's how far out we are. And I guess the Enterprise was once again further out than any other ship, but this Delphic Expanse was not something anybody was ready for. You know what? Here's my review. I thought that this was a really enjoyable episode of Star Trek. I thought they put a lot into it. I thought that it's a great connector between the episodes that came before, which formed one story. Azadi Prime and Damage was one story. I don't care if it wasn't part 1 or part 2. There was a previously on Enterprise at the beginning of the second episode because they had to bring up to speed on the like. It would not have made sense at all without the previously on.
And everything
Damage.
on the previously on actually happened.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, the previously on was reliable. You know, when I put this on Reddit, Redditors, you got on me for saying that the new Trek doesn't make sense without the previously on, and said it wasn't a legit excuse. You didn't mention the fact that after that I said that doesn't match what really happened in the episode. But anyway. The point of the matter is, this episode of Enterprise was exactly what we needed when we needed it. We got to see the crew drawing strength from the captain. It was a little bit heavy-handed that he had to write the letter right now, but it was the most impactful for our story, so I understood it. It doesn't stand the real-life sniff test, but it's not so far out of left field that I considered it story ruining. I really didn't consider it story ruining. I thought that we had a nice little action sequence there at the end. I thought that our weird Battlestar Galactica out-of-body experience where we talked about what was going on, that was absolutely fantastic, and I enjoyed it. I want all of you to tell me what you thought. We'll check out your comments as we get ready to get out of here, because Admiralty gives this one, believe it or not, I'm going to give it an A-. I'm going to give it an 80.
Really?
Did we get the grade poll up there? We still need to get the grading poll for the chat.
We're actually voting on the future of the chat. We're gonna get ratings and the opinions for this one. People are voting on the October schedule, and I'm wondering what people will do. It's gonna be interesting. Whoa, it's close. 22 votes. Wow. All right, so Halloween themed across the Trek franchise. 32% of all of you prefer that. At the same time, we have continue 3 with Enterprise, because I'm an idiot when I type. 45%. Oh, it just took the lead right now, or did I read that wrong? I'm being dyslexic. So yeah, Halloween theme is falling behind continue with Enterprise. Like Stream C results 23%. 23%. What do we do? Do we go back and re-review the episode that aired on the pivotal date, and maybe save the Doomsday Machine for the date that it aired? I don't know. Maybe we can't have it up both ways on this one.
What if we split the baby a little and did a Halloween, just one Halloween episode, maybe the day, because Halloween is Friday, and so Saturday we could do our Halloween episode and do maybe review 2 or 3 of our favorite episodes. Do it in one show.
Well, but the Saturday will be
wear
all
a costume?
Tuesday, so we should definitely do a Bajoran episode, right?
There's plenty of Deep Space Nine horror episodes.
There's
some
a
of them aren't
Voyager
even
one.
Some of them even aren't on purpose.
I mean,
yeah.
There's always Catspaw. I mean, Catspaw's a great one.
We love Catspaw. Always love Catspaw.
The Voyager one with Neelix telling the spooky story to the kids in, like, what was that, season 7? There's always that one. I think it's called Deck 13.
Oh, right.
That is a good performance by an actor that I feel got short shrift, so I'd love to see him get his due.
Yeah.
He got destroyed in this time slot for years. There needs to actually be an Ethan. You know, if I had nothing but money, that would be a great cameo. Hello, this is Ethan Neelix from Star Trek Voyager, and I've heard that you guys have called me a chicken man and said my character was a war criminal. Well, fuck you.
There's that one story where...
How great would that be? Sorry,
there's that other story where when Neelix starts to befriend Naomi, and then her mom realizes how old Kes was, and she get the fuck away from her.
Well, that could have been like another line. It's like, you know who's getting laid on the Voyager? Exactly me. Okay, exactly me. Naomi Wildman's parents didn't meet for months and months and months.
So, Admiral, you gave it an A. Did you give the number score? I missed it.
Can I give it an 89?
Oh, 89 for the
A minus.
Okay.
It's an A minus. I don't want to give it the number between 87 and 89.
Well, you could go 87.9.
Okay, 87 point. Yeah, I want it to be an A minus, so it's an 89.
Okay.
It's an 89. I really I thought that this episode really, it was conscious of its flaws, so I gave it more credit for that. It was conscious of its flaws. It was conscious that it had a little too much of all of these things. It was conscious of of some of the problems. It wasn't cognizant of the CGI problem, but again, compared to what we go through today, it was a CGI feast for the eyes. Honestly, the way the CGI looked when they were out on the hull, it was absolutely great. And this was a perspective I loved. And all I could think about when I saw this moment is, remember in effing retarded, strange new fucking Lowe's when Una and I think it's Connie go walking on the hull outside the ship in fucking space to sign their name on the saucer section? It was pretarded.
You know what I would do, Admiral, is, I would take control of that ship. That'd be like the first thing I would do is tell somebody, get a bucket of paint out there and get rid of that shit off the hull.
Just tear that piece of the hull off and put it in the wall of my cabin in my office. Don't have anyone, and don't let anyone from this crew sign it. I have a picture of what it looks like. If there's one more signature, chop chop. If you're a Nuke Trek commander, guys, honestly, and we're just gonna hang out for a few minutes here and look at your comments. But if you're a Nuke Trek commander and you're taking control of your Nuke Trek ship, honestly, what you want to do is you want to go on there, and if anyone gives you any kind of shit, it's just like, it's like, all right, all engines ahead, best possible speed. And it's like, if you have someone like Ortega, it's like, whatever you say, cowboy. It's like, what? Does anybody else got any shit to say? Go back to your station. You, take the helm. Best possible speed. Anything to say? Aye, sir. That's right. Okay. Get the fuck out of my chair. That's how you take command of a New Trek starship. Because they're going to treat you like an asshole. If I took control of a New Trek starship, I kill one crew member and one passenger if I have one, just to send a message. Anybody else? And like 3 enlisted men. One officer, 3 enlisted men, and 1 passenger if I can.
Toxic masculinity too. That it made do it. So then you would, just imagine like this, like the conversation in the hallway between Una and Connie. It's just like, you left your socks in my apartment again, and it's just like, why are we why do we have that conversation in that last episode? Is that what we've turned into, sock people? And I'm like, neither of your characters wear socks. You're always wearing stockings, and it's like, except Una, who wears like pants and a pair of Converse walking around the goddamn Enterprise. But it was just like, imagine like the conversations, like if Admiral Teague was actually in command in like New Trek, it would just be like Una and Connie walking down the hall. It's like, is that what we turned into? So, oh my God, it's that horrible Admiral Teague. He's so toxic. Oh my God, it was Tilly. He's killed Tilly. Shut the fuck up and go back to your jobs. I've got a couple of problems I'm working on here. Una, I need the super strength. Open this beer. You fucking heard me. Open this fucking beer. That's right. You smile when you hand it back. Smile, bitch. That's right. You fucking whore. All right, go back to your quarters. Oh, wow.
Well,
Sir.
if I have to
Very
take command of a new
controversial,
Trek
sir.
starship, look, I would never say that to wonderful Rebecca Romaine, but I would say that to piece of shit Una from Strange New Worlds, but not to wonderful Majo Barrett, who plays Una in The Cage, which is not Star Trek, but a great story that is Star Trek adjacent. And I think anybody who wants to argue that The Cage was a good Star Trek story, unfortunately, they did make a show out of it, and we saw what happened. So, sorry. It was a good story in the vein of Star Trek, but it wasn't super good. It just wasn't super good. So, let's see what people have to say about this one. I agree with you, sir. This episode gets an A- from you as well. Okay, Cal-L64, thank you. Connor Trinneer's performance during the episode were my favorite scenes in the episode, despite their poignant nature. This one bothered me like a little bit, to be quite honest with you. I had feelings, but he says the order of events may have been better if Trip has the freak out at Degra, then Phlox confines him for rest. Yeah, it would have made more sense. I think it's arrested Trip who does the yelling at Degra, but you know what? I don't ever feel bad for anybody who yells at Degra. Degra seems to have become a meme here. everybody is Degra. See if we have any more. Guys, put your opinions in here about the episode if you want. We have a few more minutes to take a look at them. Before using Degra, I wouldn't even say that. Yeah, signing your name on the hull, and Exa with any respect is assigning work details, not graffitiing the hull. Oh, it was so moronic. Mark Harkness, they're walking out on the hull, and while the ship is in space, and I'm like, Star Trek First Contact, the ship had shields too. I mean, they wore their fucking spacesuits. Was that like now, like in the future, they need spacesuits outside the ship, but now they don't? So it was so fucking stupid. It made me angry as shit. They didn't need like gravity boots or anything. Like, it was just so dumb. And like, it took up a whole let's play Enterprise bingo. It's like so fucking retarded. Side effects of using Degra include exploding into a justifiable rage, lack of sleep, an incessant tendency to argue with well-intentioned fellow crew members. Yeah, and the creator of 10, right? Peter Griffin and Quagmire both got yelled at once. I thought that was a little much. I think it was more Peter Griffin's fault than Quagmire. And also, what's the dog's name again?
Porthos?
Brian Griffin.
Brian.
Sorry.
Oh, Brian.
Right. No,
I think part of this that we didn't really talk about, Teague, was that Seth MacFarlane was on this show and no one cared, like one way or the other.
Except him, who really wanted to be on Star Trek.
That's right. I mean, we would be too in that situation.
We would do that, yes.
But the point of it is like modern Trek would like tell you for like years, because that's how long it would take them to make the season, that Seth MacFarlane is going to be on our show, and this is why you need to pay attention to it, and this broke new ground and all this shit. And it's like, no, he had a cameo.
You're right. He was quite famous at this point.
Expect you to like clap like a seal because they did that. And
they
no one
had
here.
some sense of the grandeur of what they were doing, and Seth MacFarlane was a small part of it, rather than them being a small part of Seth MacFarlane's life. If RuPaul went on Strange New Worlds, she would be the most powerful alien they ever encountered. You know what the difference between RuPaul and Strange New Worlds is? People watch RuPaul and she makes money. Let's be honest. She's been on TV for 20 years making money in her niche, doing what RuPaul wants to do. And, whatever. Like, it is still identifying as a man and making money. And then we've got this new Trek stuff that's just out there where it's like, this is a groundbreaking episode you should all appreciate. This is the first time we've had 11 trans characters in the same scene at once. It's like, no one cares. Like, you racist, 3 of them are black. It's like, yeah, no one cares. So as we get ready to wrap this one up, I would ask my friends, what are you up to this week? JT, you going to be killing people with Dadman? Are you going to be doing Fortnite? Are you going to be on with our friend Mark D with a C?
Oh, well, I'm definitely going to hang out tomorrow night for some Sunday Night Geekery with Mark D with the C. And then Tuesday, I'll be back on with Dadman at 9 p.m. Eastern, talking some sports ball. And then Wednesday, I'll be over with Dave C, talking some comics. We're going to give Spectre one last try before we think about going in other directions. So could be a high probability of rant potential on that one. And then Thursday, I will hopefully be right back here talking some Landman. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to the Landman conversation. I have time for it this week, and I have time to deal with Landman. Okay, so Sean, what are you up to?
Well, tomorrow I hope to get my first chapter of the Voyager build that I'm doing. It's turning out really nice. I think I sent you guys a picture of the nacelle, which looked really cool.
Yes, it did. It looked amazing. I say that every time in the chat, but it does. It looks so nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it really turned out good. I found a cool technique, so I'm anxious to share that. And then Wednesday, I'll be on Pop Culture Breakdown. We're going to start Halloween month. We get 5 Halloween movies to review. So we're starting with American Werewolf in London. That's going to be fun. And then tomorrow night, I think I'm going to try to pop on Tony's show tomorrow for his birthday stream. I think he's doing an all-day thing. So who knows if we'll get some karaoke? I don't know. Let's see. And then, tomorrow night at midnight, I get to drive an hour and 20 minutes down to Austin to pick up my stepson, who wisely chose his return flight the day before a Monday.
I hope that means it's a good thing.
I'm not too happy about it.
I'm sorry, Sean. What can I tell you? You know, if you just a couple more jabs, the kid would have grown bat wings, right? Did you get him that? I mean, you could still try that one. Listen, go ahead.
I'm gonna find it. I got to show that picture of my my neighbor. This guy, new neighbor. He's new to the neighborhood, and I was doing my walk this morning, and he's putting up an enormous amount of Halloween decorations, which is really cool because our neighborhood, like last year, I think we had like 400 kids. Like we had about at one time probably about 800 or 900 kids on our street. It was incredible, but so when I told him about what it's like here, I'm like, dude, you better buy a couple $100 worth of candy. And his eyes lit up because he's fully about Halloween.
Wait, like when you say you had 400 or 500 kids, I mean, like that's a lot of. That's 800 in that neighborhood.
Wow. There's like two surrounding counties come specifically to our subdivision here. Like there's houses here do all kinds of crazy stuff. So. I have a video. I'll find it. We'll share it next week or something. But yeah, I took a video and the street is just crowded. You can't see through them. It's probably 800 or 900 people out at one time. It's nuts here. And I love it because I love Halloween. But here, I'm going to share. So he put up one of the skeletons here.
That is cool.
But it looks like a stripper.
I thought it was a skeleton with breast implants still on it.
It's either that or it's an Ariana Grande statue.
You know, for a guy who's paid for like 8 breasts in his life, you'd think I would have one implant for myself, like as a paperweight. But you know what? No, that's my destiny.
Yeah, but look at the hands down here. It's up here. He's kind of squatting a little, and he's looking down like a sexy pose. It's just. I don't think he meant to do it because the rest of the yard's normal.
I'm going to do something. I don't think I'm not on tomorrow, so I'm going to do something. I haven't done this since opening day of baseball.
Oh, nice. I did break down. I bought a 6-pack of pumpkin ale because I love pumpkin ale and Oktoberfest beers. And I'm not drinking right now.
All right. My first officer drinks girl drinks when he goes off his drinking fast.
Yeah, I love the fall tasting beers. I always look forward to it. So I did break down. I bought a 6-pack of this stuff. So through the month, I'm going to enjoy it.
Come on, have a beer or two here and there. You've come
Yeah.
a long way. I'll just say, you listen to our older shows, you can hear Sean, like, sometimes, like, you can hear all of us at different times breathing into the mic. Like, when I do hear it, like, you don't sound labored anymore. Like, you definitely, like, when you did pass out, I was like, okay, makes sense now, kind of a thing. Like, and it's nowhere near, I had been worried, like, before. I was like, wow. And then, like, since then, like, you have totally turned it around. You've earned a few beers. This has been, like, sustained effort. And anyone who watched your video has seen that you're kind of a new man.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like it. Like around August, when I was able to actually take walks in the middle of the day, like 95 to 100-degree heat, and I wasn't breathing hard. I breathed through my nose the entire time. I'm like, okay, I'm getting better.
Now, I want you to save the extra skin, because what I want to do is I'm going to get a Letterman jacket.
Oh, no.
I'm going to get a New York Mets Letterman jacket, and I want to use your skin for the sleeves so I can be like, it's Carter skinned, man. I'll get like a Gary Carter themed like Mets jacket to wear to games.
Oh, maybe we can smuggle a beer underneath it and bring it in.
I'll smuggle in more than a beer. I don't
have that much.
I have vaped pot at every Met game I've gone to. They have the best seats up in the 500 section. It's come to town when the Nationals are in town for $20. We'll sit up there by ourselves and we'll watch a fairly decent baseball game, and the Mets will win because they're better now. We'll go in April when they're still good.
Funny fact, I played baseball with the guy that hit the last RBI for the Expos and the first RBI for the Nationals.
Wow.
Yeah, his name's Trammell Sledge. He had about 3 or 4 seasons in the majors. Really cool story. I'll tell you about him some other time. But yeah, he has a kind of a cool little stat there.
I dated a chick where, like, I went to her house and there was a picture of her brother in his Little League team, and there was something really weird about the picture. And I was like, why is that picture so weird? And she's like, because that's Doug Glanville.
Oh, wow.
Was on his Little League team. And I'm like, but the other guy, she's like, it's Lawrence Franks, the manager of the Knicks. I'm like, what the hell kind of Little League team is this? But, hey, Canaanite, welcome. Can I get the vape in? Here in Florida, they're cracking down. I'm sorry to hear it. I stopped smoking weed like a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago now. And I've been feeling nothing but better. The vaping is like 95% less toxins and stuff like that. And I've been using a lot less. So I don't know. Personally, if you can get away with it in your state, like use it. But like, it's why they would crack down on marijuana when there are so many worse drugs and when it has so many medicinal applications is beyond me. And look who's here. Critically Thinking and Drinking is here.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Highlight Wes Cagel's comment.
Wes Cagle, the full Buffalo. I was just like, I was like, I have a chance to say something deeply unnerving here. I'm not going to let it go by. I'm going to enjoy myself. This is the read. I feel like Captain Kirk here. You ready? It's like, that's why we go on YouTube, gentlemen. Bad taste is our business. Our friend Critically Thinking and Drinking is here. He's in the chat. You should consider following him on X. He's a great follow. He's a great guy. He's been dropping some hilarious Star Trek stuff from Derp Network where I've dropped their link in the chat before. If you haven't critically, drop you know what? Drop it in there and I'll just highlight it again and drop it back in. You know what? I'm streaming on X. If you're a YouTuber, here's the deal. Why would I give you my show on X and drive down my YouTube concurrence? It always undercut my YouTube concurrence. And I've been thinking of streaming on X like exclusively to promote the Star Trek show. But while we're shorthanded with Germ out, what I've been doing is I've been handling the watch party part while I make the video for the show. And I basically work a very long Star Trek day, sirs and madams. It is very controversial indeed how much work I put into the Star Trek show and how much time I spend watching Star Trek. The cool part is you get to watch Star Trek. But I would invite Mark D to come on and say hi, but we're going to try to warp out of here early tonight. I know JT has to be across town, and we've been working the crew real hard. Next week, we're going to be coming at you with Landman. So we want to thank you for an awesome journey through September. And October's right around the corner. We got playoff baseball, and that would have been a terrible idea. They should have had him in like on an archival tape or in A Dream of Archers if they wanted to do something like maybe Phlox could have Aliens of Tech or something, or Phlox. I don't the Nexus. I don't know. It might not have been possible to use Shatner in this show. The Temporal Cold War. Except for using it to bring back Trip, I don't think we need the Temporal Cold War anymore. I think it was kind of it served its purpose. It's good that it's there to bring back Trip, but you got a full week of shows. What's the movie on Pop Culture Breakdown again, Sean?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
What's the Pop Culture Breakdown movie again, Sean?
Oh, American Werewolf in London.
That's like one movie I can't give you much trivia on, except that it's the Dr. Pepper guy. It's the Dr. Pepper guy.
Pepper guy?
You don't remember the commercial? I'm a pepper, we're a pepper.
Yeah, the jingle. Yeah,
yeah. That's the American Werewolf. He's the Dr. Pepper guy.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought for a while it was the guy from Northern Exposure because he looked a lot like him. Yeah, we're going to be tearing into Landman next week for part 1, part 2 is part 1.5 because we really have to, like, we were supposed to do episodes 1 to 3, but we did in 2 hours. We weren't really able to give a complete accounting of it. So we'll be back with more of that on Thursday. And as for now, you know her, you love her. Her name is Sydney Sweeney. And why do I put her on my channel?
The word decent doesn't apply to me.
But first, this is what this is why we fight.
Insufficient sensor data.
Incorrect.
10 fucking grueling hours.
It's Trek, but not as we know it. That was some of the worst garbage ever, and we were privileged to bring you the report of its downfall. We needed help from drugs.
Pure anti-proton. Absolutely pure.
Shut up!
All right, thanks everybody for being here, and here's Sydney Sweeney.
Can I finish, please?